All right, guys, thanks so much. 2 o'clock. Let's get into the close. Final 2 hours of trading for Monday, the very first day of trading in 2022. And we're back to the upside. So nicely positive afternoon here. It is tech that's leading. Apple gets to 3 trillion by 2 pennies and then turns on a dime and pulls off a little bit here. We'll talk about Apple coming up here in a second. 0.3 there for the Dow. You can see about 0.4 for the S&P. We are in positive territory, but coming off the highs as well for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Crude oil having quite the day, along with some energy stocks as well. Oil lifting. A lot of this group right here, energy stocks, all for the most part, every single one of these in positive territory. Oxy leading the day, 6.2% for Oxy on the day. SLB, PSX, Halliburton, XOM, Apache, to name a few, all in positive territory. If you joined us at 8:30 this morning, we were mentioning travel stocks were positive in the pre-market. They continue to be. It's Norwegian leading the way as far as the cruise lines are concerned, 7. CCL, RCL, 5 and 6% to the upside. Individual banks were strong to kick things off today, but we are coming off the highs a little bit here as far as the financials are concerned. Still a nice 5% day for Wells Fargo. BAC, Citigroup is here as well. There's Morgan Stanley and Goldman down in the diversified group. So financials are strong. We mentioned consumer discretionary, industrials to the downside. Here's UAL, AAL, and Alaska, Delta here as well. Everything else in negative territory. Tech showing some strength as well, though FTNT, EPAM, and IT all about 3% in negative territory. Can quickly show you the NASDAQ here. We'll have a look at what is moving around. Tesla, wow, Tesla, 11.5% on the day. Lucid, 8.2%. Airbnb having a nice day for the first day of the year, up 3.3%. Look at Moderna, 8% to the downside. On the day that our provincial government comes out and say that all the kids are going back to online learning in Ontario, which is not good, obviously. So, yeah, Omicron cases continue to rise. The market positive for the first day of the year, which is always good. Yeah, we're going back to online learning for schools in Ontario. No indoor dining. It's, I think, minus 10 or so outside right now, Celsius. So if you want to go to a restaurant and eat outside, you're more than welcome to. But anyways, I digress. Let's kick things off, as we do every afternoon, with a bit of a look back at what was floating around in the pre-market as far as opportunities to trade. Our friend Sean is going to kick us off today with a look at one of his trades.
Thank you, Brendan. And yeah, today's trading, pretty good. As you see, NASDAQ ripping, Apple ripping, Tesla, thank you, Brendan, for that one, up 11% today. And we're going to do the same kind of sector here. EVs, right? We saw NIO start to move like crazy last Thursday with a lot of these Chinese names. Today, it's on the sticky note. It's the number 2 name, and it's talking about, we'll throw this away, it's talking about these 32 levels. If you go back here to last week, we looked here, and it's actually, I'm only using Thursday, Friday of last week here. So you can see, you go back in, we have this consolidation. So this is the big monster move up that came out of absolutely nowhere on Thursday. We couldn't believe this kind of a boom right there to the upside. A lot of Chinese names going. NIO has gone before. We know the high of this name around $60, maybe even a little bit higher than that. 32. We identified that level, and it was like, you know what? We came in today, we were already pretty high up, 33.50, 33 and change. And we just felt like today, if you look at the minute chart here, you know, it was already pretty extended. This is off the AM, and then boom, something happens about 8:30 or so, and the market just ramps up, and we find ourselves up kind of in no man's land. If you look up here, that's too high. Like we've tested up here a couple times and faded back in. So this is something that we were like, you know what, we want to get long NIO, but we sort of had to like channel our inner sort of patience here. That's hard to do for me. And we did it today, which was good. We put on the sticky note that we wanted to start to build at 32.50. If you look over here, this is 32.50 right inside. So we weren't sure if we were going to come into this level today or not. But you know what? The market, it opened up today, as you can see. Where's the first open here? It opens up here at 33.50. So we're like, you know what? If this is going to come back $1, then we would love to take the long. So that's what we do. We start to take the long, and then instantly, just like normal, we're out of 25, 50, 75% as it rips to the upside. And again, that's 20 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents. So a nice little move to the upside, taking some profit out, but we still want to hold on to like half, 3/4 of the trade or so to see if there's going to be an upside move, right? So what happens is, though, instead, bang, it drops all the way to the downside. And we didn't even realize how far this thing had gone down. But because of the stick, follow me at Trader TV, Sean, and all of us here at Trader TV Live, we had a 32 bid. We liked the 32 bid so much, we actually had a 32.10 and then a 32 flat. So it comes down and it runs right into us. But again, all we're really doing is following this. Our out was going to be somewhere down here, 40 cents worth of risk. So yeah, let's double it up. We wind up taking our biggest position of the day here, and all of a sudden, man, it just starts to blow to the upside. Like me, don't have those diamond hands, but we just out, all the way up. We have so many shares here that we're just like machine gunning this all the way out. Then a lot of shares out right here at VWAP. When it comes back up, it's volume weighted average price. So we got to use something. And where are we going to get out of this? Why not just in this range right here? So we let that happen. And guess what? We are still long. So we're still long some NEO. We take some out here. It hasn't come back to VWAP. Maybe that's where we're going to tap out if it does come back. But right now we're still long, looking to see if we take out this high side. So it's kind of barcoding here. But as you can see, we're starting to make higher lows. So hopefully NEO, if we draw a little line, this is almost like a flag, right? You could draw some little lines here. We think explosion to the upside is going to come for NEO. But the reason why, guys, check the sticky note every single day. Ford's on there as well. Nice movement. Plus you have the Tesla bump. The EV space is the one to be in. And we'd pick NEO off delivery numbers. So there were other reasons why NEO was going to go today. But it's a great day for EVs. I think there's some shuffling going on here. Get into some Chinese EV names. They seem to be hot.
Yeah, pretty impressive day for NIO. My button was stuck. For NIO, for XPeng, for Tesla as well. Blowout delivery numbers right across the board. Record, in fact, delivery numbers right across the board. As I mentioned, 11%. It's amazing. $1,100 stock, 11% on the first day of the year. Apple here, interesting as well. Maybe I should turn that off. There we go. Apple, pretty interesting as well, guys. We get to a high of 288. So 182.88, and then turn on a dime and come in about 80 cents or so, back to 182 here. So, I mean, it got there, and now we're coming off, probably $1 here in the next couple of minutes or so. Still, I mean, what can't you say about Apple? 2.5%. Here we go again for Apple. Now the official first company in the U.S. to hit $3 trillion on the market cap.
I mean, I know what you can't say about it. This is sort of like cheating, but you can't say it's a $3 trillion company. Now, there's obviously a reason why during the Midday Movers show, we were randomly talking about that number when we had to fill in a little bit for Trader Prad. But look, psychologically, you can talk about even dollar levels, you can talk about all-time highs, you can then talk about that 3 trillion mark. The fact that we haven't yet pulled back into VWAP, when that's an obvious selling point that you kind of knew you could turn around. I'm kind of mad at myself for being short some small caps and not even looking at Apple at that price level, just even for a scalp trade. It's like 50, 60 cents here. Now, is it going to break eventually and then it's going to stay above this level and make some fresh highs? Of course it's going to. But that doesn't mean as a short-term trader you can't take advantage of levels like that. So the market overall, I mean, the ES is still right at the high. The NASDAQ is sort of turning towards its high as Apple pulls back. So this is just sort of purely an Apple $3 trillion pullback. I think it still works as long as the market's trying to trend higher. If it wants to fall back down into VWAP, I think there could be even a day trade on this one. But great name, only gets better. But there's a reason we kept talking about that random 182.87 number. The only reason it matters is because of that overall market cap. I'm in two things short. You can see GNPX at 305 and IMMX from earlier this morning. I did cover my Uber trade. That ended up working out for me. Still looking to see if Boeing can make its break, though.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be short, you got to be short in like those kind of blah, blah, blah names there, like the high runners, the 100% clubs, things like that into a day like today, because I don't want to be short any of the names that I'm trading, man. I mean, XPEV right here, we got $1 in the money on this name and continuing to go. But yeah, Apple, I mean, guess what? Next $3 trillion company to come, obviously, is going to be Microsoft. That's going to happen sooner rather than later, as well as Microsoft today. A name that we haven't talked about in a bit. It's been kind of like barcoding. It's not really doing a whole hell of a lot. It's making a nice move up here. But if you look at the 20-minute chart, is sort of what I was getting. Actually, you know what? The last couple of days, I guess we didn't really look at it the last 2 days, but I was noticing it just going back and forth up here. And then we did have a nice, okay, yeah, so no, I'm wrong on this one. I thought Microsoft was sort of just dancing around, not doing much. But it did fade out there on Thursday and Friday. Actually, a big move back down to 332. So I actually didn't think Microsoft was down here. I thought we were more around 338, 340. So this name's going to be a $1 trillion company at some point as well. But right now, Microsoft's struggling a little bit, down 0.75, while you have Apple up 2.55. So for me, I think they're not one and the same. Obviously, they're completely different companies. But as far as strength is concerned, strong balance sheets, a name you want to be in going into 2022. I mean, Microsoft, again, like there's not that many better names right now that I think are going to work like a softie is going to work out for you. I really like the name. This has been a stock yet to split. That could be a possibility here in 2022. So I think there are a few things to look at here when you're looking at softie. It went down to 320. It's now just dancing around its 50-period moving average. I really like this name to go to the north side, man. We've talked about Azure and getting some cash flow, Xbox, a lot of things happening for Microsoft. I believe in the right areas here. So I think this is a name that you might want to look at. If you think Apple's a little too high, you may want to dip your toes here into some Mr. Softie.
We go back to EV land. What about this one as well? Obviously not 3 trillion, but not too far behind at this point. I was just double checking Tesla, guys. The all-time high over here was 1244, right on the nose. So a little ways to go up here. It's just off screen. But what can we say about Tesla? 12% move for Tesla today after, if you missed it, yeah, they sold almost 1 million cars in 2021. 936,000 on the nose delivered for Tesla.
Yeah, it's like impressive numbers. Who cares about the fact that their truck is going to be beaten to market? It doesn't matter by Ford and obviously by Rivian as well. That doesn't seem to matter. Tesla, just incredible numbers. I can tell you this much: if it when it does join that club, that 3 trillion club, it'll probably have split at least 2 times, probably before then. But yeah, $1 trillion company doing a 12% move. This is the type of market we're in. And anytime you have names like this, which have options driving volatility the way they are, you can get some outsized moves in Tesla. I sat here this morning, wanted to buy the dip on this one and tried it in the wrong spot on XPeng instead. Should have just gone over to Tesla or Lucid, which I think are, at the end of the day, I think are better companies. For whatever reason, I decided to go into the one that I thought would be the day trade today. Now, Tesla's getting close to this 1200 level. Obviously, if you look at this, is the lower high. Currently on the daily chart is going to be that 1200, and as it tries to break out this 1185, there is a chance it makes another leg up and goes a little bit parabolic into that 1200 level. I think it's a definite possibility that we can see that coming in here today. I think overall valuation is going to matter more in 2022 than it did last year. That doesn't necessarily mean that every single high value stock or expensive stock, for lack of a better term, is going to just start flushing. But I do expect to see a little bit more aggressive profit taking on these stronger moves. So you get to 1200 and people are going to be ringing some registers, I think, a little bit here. But this is a name which has worked in the past. It's got the momentum for it today. And the next time I see Tesla up 5% or more, I won't only look for a dip buy. I don't know why I didn't like the breakout trade. It's a pretty clean one, although you did have to take it in the pre-market, unfortunately. But sometimes it sustains enough volume to be tradable in the pre-market. I know it's a $1,000 stock, but it definitely was enough volume that it was tradable. If I was willing to trade NIO for a breakout, positive on NIO, but Tesla sustained its breakout, whereas NIO ended up getting trailed out for basically flat on the final third. And Tesla just had more momentum. So sometimes you got to jump into these ones early when you get a chance, especially when it's got a catalyst.
Yeah, we did the opposite of NIO. Like, we didn't jump in early. We waited for that key price, and like you have to wait for key prices for sure. Did you guys know that Apple, and again, we were just talking to Rob and to Lucas about this. So when Apple first hit its $1 trillion mark, that was in 2018. Okay, so we just now, at the beginning of 2022, hit 3 trillion. So like that's a triple in 3 years for Apple, and it's not like Apple's a new story. Got that one, Rob. It's not like Apple's a new story here. And the same thing goes for all these stocks. I mean, I could talk about Microsoft or anything. Big cap tech just continues to work. And then just so you guys know, Tesla's nowhere near 3 trillion. So I know we're talking about that, but Tesla's only at 1.2 trillion. So this stock needs to do a lot of work before it even touches any of those Apple gods. But today, it is definitely trying its best to moon, and it's exactly doing that. On a 20-minute chart, you have like two red candles mind the open. 2 red candles here, and this is pre-market. So, nothing stopping Tesla today. It's off to the races. Buy any dips, and you won't regret that. So a big move up here for Tesla today. Wowzers, it continues to go. And just on another note here, a company that's a lot of us wish, I guess, was in the trillions. AMC bouncing again off that 2650. So this is where we're long. You can see our average price is 16. We've been averaging into this one the whole way. We started getting it a little bit early here, trying to think about 28, but it did come right back into 2650, which has been the bottom here, back on the 22nd, then back again on the 27th. And then we tested here again the 29th, and we're right back here again after being here on Friday. So we're back one more time at these lows. I'm going to hold out for a little bit here, see if we can't get this, nothing we can do about it, but see if it doesn't, it actually did come to 92. Okay, I was going to say if we get back into the 90s, maybe we would trim a piece of this. So AMC continues to look weak, but let's see if it bounces off 2650 if you're wondering why we're still holding this.
All right, let's touch on the banks here quickly, guys. We had a couple of upgrades in the sector to kick things off this morning, including Barclays was upgrading Wells Fargo. There was a few positive notes anyways on the banking group. I just brought up Goldman here, 4% almost for Goldman, was more than that. Got above 398, almost 399 there for Goldman Sachs. There was a huge move in the US dollar today, back higher. Treasury yields were back higher, so benefiting these banks anyways, individual banks leading. Some of the diversified financials not so much, but pretty positive nonetheless as the market only 0.4 right now.
Yes, sir. I have no idea what this is going to be when I hit it, but I'm going to hit this key because you seen this one before?
Yeah, throwing you under
it's
the
like
bus.
Throwing me under the bus.
That's a really, really old one.
That's really old. I don't even know what that's doing there, but why not? And again, this has nothing to do with talking about the banks whatsoever, because I don't think I don't see any way up 3% that I can spin this to be negative. But I talked about this in the morning show and went ahead and actually was able to get some shares if we closed or held above $100 on Morgan Stanley. If I think that growth isn't going to be as big and we're going to be in a different environment this year in 2022, and that the manner in which big cap tech held the markets up this year, it's not crazy or by any stretch of the imagination anything prophetic to be able to say that can't happen again this year. Like if we're gonna have anywhere near the growth that we had last year, even a fraction of it, then certainly it's going to be a little bit more widespread if that's going to be the case. In this environment, I think there's some other names that could work. I really like where the banks are poised, specifically Morgan Stanley, and I know these daily chart. I know these have the opportunity to break out what has been a long consolidation, and you've been basically, for the last quarter, essentially sitting in a 10% range, right? So once we get out of this, I think it's got lots of room to run. Buying Morgan Stanley on dips. I got a little bit in here today above that $100 level. And Tesla, $11.85. It's not quite there yet. Just coming back over to one position from earlier on before I know you probably want to talk about the banks too. Sean, IMMX, while we were today in the computer issues. IMMX, I was able to just get some out when it popped down below VWAP right before we came back on. If it breaks this low at 690, that's the support since the whole bottom. I'm going to hold through that. Next bid is down in front of 650. And if it breaks 8 even, I'm going to be out of this stock. It's got a double top that I think if it can take out the double top, I'm going to like it for a long. For now, still working the short on this trade.
I've already said already, if you're not sure about what bank to get into, you can, of course, use the XLF or something like that to get into something, because I think this name will continue to work. Just like today, we talked about getting into the JETS ETF, right? So this was another name that we wanted to look at today. And again, this name's up that 3%. You can see if you're not sure of what to get into, and I'm just talking about some of these. Neil just talked about a few of the different banks there. WFC, obviously the most aggressive to the upside, but XLF's a good one. If you just wanted to hold something and you just weren't sure which name, it's not going to be like the craziest moving thing ever. I mean, ETFs won't move as fast as the individual underlying, but again, safer. You don't have the single name risk associated with it. So I don't mind XLF here as we're just breaking back above the 50 period. And there's a lot of the bank stocks that, I mean, all the charts look very, very similar. So I'll have to check out what the dividend is on this, but all the banks pretty much pay a dividend, some better than others because of the allowance, but we'll wait to see here on XLF. I think if you're going to pick anything, just throw your money into this ETF. It will work. There are more aggressive ones out there, and you guys can find them. But just for a standard ETF, I like XLF, just like XLE would be energy, and so XLK is technology. So there's a few, and I forget, let me just find out who. Is it iShares, or this one is, Select Spider Trust Financial. So there are different ones you can get in there as well. But, do some research. I like the XLF just because it's most familiar and does decent volume, 30 million shares today alone.
All right, one of the most common questions we get around here is from new traders, and specifically, where do we start when we get into the market? And more specifically, give me a rule set that I can simply take to the market, follow on a daily basis, and at very least, keep myself safe. So in this video, guys, we're going to give you a few rules to take into the market on a daily basis, just to keep yourself on the safe side when it comes to short-term trading.
Yeah, look, it's important. Everyone's starting out. You want to think about how to make yourself profitable, right? No one wants to lose money. And it starts with accepting the fact that losing is going to be part of the game. You have to put in an amount into your account or into trades that you can afford to lose. Something that if it disappears, if you lose on your first trade, if you lose on your first 3 or 4 trades, it is an amount that you have accepted mentally that you can handle losing. What this does for you is when you enter into a trade and you say sized it and risked it correctly, let's imagine a scenario in which you're only willing to lose $1,000 on a particular trade, and maybe your account has started out, you only want to risk 10% of it, and you start out with like 10,000 or so. It allows you to structure a trade. So if you take a breakout, let's just randomly going to show you a trade that I happen to have this morning. Let's say you were taking a break on something like Carnival 21, like I was here today, and then you were giving it all the way back until the first support level down here at 20.72, risking about 30 cents worth of growth. Once you've structured that, you can then size your trade, limiting that 30 pennies worth of growth to about a $1,000 loss, if that's what you're trying to do. So that way, when it comes to your decision point, you're not sitting at a P&L loss of 2 to 3x of what you might be expecting. Suddenly, if it draws back on you, now this didn't go back against me here, but if it did draw down against you and you're put to the decision of having to get out of it, you're not sitting there trying to massage a trade or think about, oh, I'm down so much, I have to let it ride. No, you can cut bait because you've decided on an amount that you can afford to lose. If you put your whole account into that trade and don't put risk into mind, and suddenly it's all of your savings, well, you're going to get emotional about it. It's going to be very difficult to look at your technical stop level where you wanted to get out and then stick to that plan. So always start with an amount when you're active trading that you can afford to lose. So that when you start the day, if that 10% of your account is gone in your head, it's already into the market, then when you have to follow your rules, it's a little bit easier not to be emotional about it.
Yeah, learn to use your stop losses, learn to figure everything out, what kind of risk tolerance you have yourself as well. I'm going to stick to something here that makes a lot of sense to me, and those of you that watch the show probably understand this. And I think it's just trade names that you're familiar with. I mean, I think that's another big thing. You're going to see Neil and I often, we won't be in a Tesla or something like that as much as maybe you guys are. And it just goes to show that if you're not trading something that you're familiar with or comfortable with, then you may start to violate some of the rules on particular names that you may have set out for other names. And what I mean by that is you might have different stop losses for a Palantir as opposed to a Tesla, as opposed to a NIO, or maybe you like to trade $18 names as opposed to, and I'll just call up another one like Microsoft, a $300 name. There's going to be different opportunities for you, different risk allotments, and I think that's going to be my tip. It's going to be just that basic, is do your back testing, make sure that, hey, I have a strategy that I use on these certain types of names, whether or not they be morning movers or stocks that are running, like an NTRB or low float names, things like that. Just stick with a strategy that you have back tested, that makes some sense, and names that you're comfortable with, so that you're not like all, flustered when and if something goes wrong. You have to be able to say, hey, I've seen this level before on Microsoft, or I'm comfortable with Palantir here at 18. So, but if I just go over to Roku right now, that maybe I've never traded before, and I'm just picking on this name, you can pick any name, I don't know what 233 means to Roku, right? But I do know what some of these other levels mean for stocks that I've been looking at. So kind of like, I guess my tip, Brendan, is kind of just stay in your lane, understand what names you trade the best, and kind of be like an analyst, man. Just stay with what you do the best, and then once you've sort of conquered that, then move on to the next stage. So that's my tip, kind of stay in your lane.
Yeah, it's so important not to overstep and do one thing good, then move on to the next. I'm going to go one step further with this, and I'm going to say this rule simply because I wish somebody said it to me when I first ventured into the market, and that is simply hard and fast. Do not place a trade with real money in the live market until you are able to write down in detail why you are doing so. And simply writing down because so-and-so on Twitter said to is not good enough. You have to be able to define your risk, define your entry, define your out, and define why you're actually placing the trade. So that'll be my rule, guys. So I hope that helps and gives you a little bit of a rule set to get into the market with. Let's keep going with a bit of a review of what was to look at this morning. Some of the Chinese EV makers were moving higher. We talked about NIO there a little bit. Both XPeng and Li Auto also out this morning with delivery numbers for both the quarter, last quarter, and also the month, last month, both beating expectations. So more positivity for both of these, although they were a little bit disappointing if you compare them to the Teslas and the NIOs of the world.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll tell you right now, like, XPeng was a huge disappointment. I've liked it as a better play if you go to the Chinese EV space than NIO. So oddly enough, today to be up on NIO and down on XPeng, it's just going to be how it is. I came in looking to buy the dip. I bought the dip at the first level, and then that one failed. This is my 15-minute chart just so you can get a better look of where the stock is gone. I bought the dip at my second level, and then that broke as well. So it broke both of the support levels I was looking at. Once it did that, I just simply walked away from the stock, right? I didn't jump into it a third time. It ends up coming all the way back, and now we're right here, right back to the original entry, right back at that $50 level. So you're continuing to see it, this work. It's down on the session because it had gapped up, and I'm kicking myself for not at least trying the rollover trade on XPeng. However, all of that said, much unlike NIO here, this is a name which has been in the midst of a breakout. Look at the gorgeous bounce off the 200 period. It's already churned through the 50. It just got through $50 and right up into its recent high, which is a bit of a double top, 58 to 60, and a lower high double top to boot. But this 50 level was the bottom end of this range if you go back into November. So a hold above here would be certainly a good sign. It just feels like some people were looking to take some, I guess, some profit. It's entirely possible. I should have thought about this. Like, there could have been people that are looking to take some profit on this news and maybe got it at that $40 range off the 200 period. And then that would have made some sense that it would roll over if it got back below $50. But yeah, NIO, XPeng, both of them had dip buys. One of them had a breakout to at least go with it, but no break on XPeng, even though it is in the midst of a breakout on a higher time frame. The day trade in this one, it just feels like XPeng is, and I hate to say, I never want to say I'm never trading it again, but I just find on this stock, if I trade it in the first 25 minutes of the day, that it usually doesn't hold up. But if I go back and look at it after 10 o'clock, there's something that could have been, to my initial plan, that would have worked. So I think the next time I see this one on our watch list, I'm not trading it till 10 a.m. or at least closer to 10 o'clock.
Yep, and we had a good idea with XPeng today, and I think it's just to Neil, and we talked about this earlier, right? It's about knowing where your outs are, and Neil and I will have different outs on various stocks, and today we just had a different one on XPeng, right? Like that 48 for me, I use a 20-minute chart. This is pretty clear right here, guys. Like this bottom of 48, it's right there. I mean, these wicks are actually 48, maybe you have 48.40 maybe there as a wick, so I think it's just, for me, for all the time, it's always about sizing, and it's like, if you just take more care of everything down here, then you're able to still hold. I'm still in this. XPeng it won't be a positive stock, but the pins lined up just to take more and more shares down here. So we just kept doing that. It didn't break 48, so we didn't have to worry about getting out. And now we have $1.50 in the money here on XPeng. So XPeng, a great stock. I love trading this name. I'm just going to keep on trading it. But remember, when we were here earlier, and you can rewind this to 8:30, I talked about all of these names will probably dip down. It's just XPeng went further for sure than I thought it would. So I thought it was a pretty easy call on the dip down. But again, like it's about share size management. And at the end of the day, wish I didn't have these two executions and therefore just would have loaded up this and then we would have been, making that cash. NEO, on the other hand, that one was just hot fire. We've talked about this as a trade of the day. We're still in this name. It's looking to take out its day's high. We love that 32. And again, this is why I use the 20-minute. We'll all use different charts, right? And I've just sort of looked at the 20-minute. I really like using that one. And it's just paid off for me again. Here's some levels, 32. And you got to give it a little bit lower. So it's about share size management, getting it in and getting it out here on NEO and XBang. Both today, good trades for me, and I hope you guys are able to do it as well, but tricky. They definitely fell off the open, and that's the one thing. We talked about knowing your stocks. These EV, the Chinese EV names, they fall a lot off open. It's profit taking. They often open up much higher. So I think that's just what happened here again, as we've talked about it a couple times. So NEO continuing and XBang continuing to go to the high side. And also, guys, Palantir, let's go on that one. Palantir, we did not get the reload, but that is starting to go back up to the upside. We'll see what happens here at 1850 on Palantir. I was waiting down here again at 18, but we should have taken this 1820, but Palantir continues to work as well.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that NEO back in front as far as the monthly numbers as well as far as XBang goes, or at least strength today anyways, way stronger than XBang. Wanted to mention Robinhood because we talked a little bit about, get those crickets off the screen. We talked about, wow, 5.8% here for Robinhood. We talked about it in the pre-market. Kathy Wood was loading up on Friday. There was a huge buy that went off here. Midday while we were dealing with some technical issues on the Market Mover show. But a huge volume alert there. Took this thing back to day highs. Maybe Kathy Wood, we'll find out tomorrow, was buying a whole bunch more, guys.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe it's already done. I have no idea. I don't think it necessarily matters too much. We talked about it on the morning show. Like that, at the end of the day, no one can say anything about, well, you can say whatever you want about Kathy Wood, but you can't say that she doesn't have conviction in the name she believes in, right? So buying up Robinhood when it's down, I guess, is par for the course. I look at this and I say $20 is the level that stands out like a sore thumb. I'll get more excited about trying to trade this when it gets down there. This is your daily chart. It's not going to look fantastic, but look, a lot of IPOs did this. I mean, this is almost exactly the same chart as like C3AI, right? Like you could find a bunch, and when they broke those lows, there was no stopping it. This is the first actual consolidation, which has happened for more than just like a couple of days long of a bounce. We've now been consolidating since essentially mid-December, so this is at least a little bit of stability coming into Robinhood. I think that's why when it breaks out of this range at $20, you'll have something to go with. Now you could sit in this maybe for a better price if you really like it. I'd rather wait until it actually makes the break to get in. Like, show me that there's some buying and wants to get up. And then if it breaks 20, believe me, when you're swinging it, I think you're taking some profit in front of 25 and in front of the 50 period of 27 as well. So I think it has a good chance to go at some point because finally it's consolidating for a long time. That doesn't mean that it has to go today or tomorrow just because Kathy Wood bought it. And just to come back, I'm only in the two trades, so I'll update the one I just got a fill on. Another capitulation candle in IMMX here, just broke from 725 down in here to 675, so that's the next out. Now holding on to it, one more capitulation that takes you down to 6, and I'll be out of this stock for the day. It looks like that double top breakout probably not going to happen now.
Yeah, just talking with Trictor Prad here. Some people posting some nice stuff on the Discord, so check out our Discord if you do get a chance today at some point. Discord popping off right here. AMD is a name here that, we've been buying it. I should have bought it there. We were doing the trade of the day when this came back in, and I canceled my order, but we do have another one here at 149.40 to come through here. I like this play on AMD. It's a lagger today in the afternoon because as the market started to go upside, AMD was kind of falling. So I don't think the stock is broken by any stretch of the imagination, but at the same time, it looks like there's more and more money running into some of those bigger cap techs. I mean, not that AMD would classify as that, but Apple, I think there's a lot of concern about Apple and what's that doing. Google today as well. NVIDIA back above 300 and still going. Roku 233, we talked about that. PayPal's another name that's been pretty darn good for us today as well. What is that at now? 194. You see this PayPal buy? 190.50. Maybe we can get that again coming through. But let's try to find some names that we could trade for you right now.
RELI this just went nuts.
Really?
Really.
Well, Rally's a name from last week, actually. We were calling it's Reliance, so it's actually Rely is what we figured out.
Oh, yeah,
what we
right.
figured out the name was there.
You're right.
But starting to go upside there. Yeah, $9. Look at a day range, so it's definitely taking out some of these highs. I'm not even going to really, I know you asked Brendan for news, but this is probably just doing what it wants to do. It seems like there's a hot there. Yeah, it's a reliable stock. Good one there, Rob. If you ever want a job, come over here, replace me, please.
Good fun.
But up to $9 there. Yeah, it's an okay one. I mean,
I give it one thumb up.
Classifies.
Maybe not two, but one.
Yeah. Guaranteed I said that last week, Rob. But if I didn't, good on you for that one. But I will rely on you to have the right answers. So a good one there on Rob. XOM, I don't know. I mean, there's so many things we could talk about here.
I like energy.
Energy names are popping. But look at Lucid, opposite sort of energy, new energy right now. Lucid making these beautiful bottoms at 36, 37, 38 right there. But you can see, look at this stock today, up 8 and change. I think people are starting to pick winners, man. They want to know what name is going to be hot for 2022. It looks like Tesla's been anointed here. Lucid probably been anointed. I saw Fisker starting to move a little bit. Let's check out the beloved Nikola. I say that sort of as a joke. As many people hate Nikola, so you can see this one kind of barcoding. Remember what I said, any pop-up on Nikola, we want to be selling this name. So Nikola is another name that we want to be selling on any pop-ups. We can look at Fisker maybe. Fisker was up 3 and a bit earlier. Yeah, it looks like it's holding out here as well. Come on. On the high side, up that 3% here today. That's going to be 6% on Fisker. Okay, so yeah, I guess Fisker opened up 3%, now near day's high. So this may be one that works. And then what about a name that we haven't really talked about much today for sure, and that was Rivian. Yeah, Rivian.
No, it's not doing that.
Yeah, it's 6.5 million shares. I mean, that's the wrong chart, of course. Rivian dips below 100 off the open, or right at 100. Wow. Touches 100 today, up to 104 and change. This could be a fade into some of these highs off the, wow, but this just got murdered off the open. 106.50. This is a 1 minute chart, guys. That went straight down $6. And then this little move here, up straight $4. So yeah, Rivian definitely volatile. This might be a name to look at here.
It's interesting because I guess that's what you saw happen to the Chinese EV names, right? When Tesla was strong, you see Lucid go. So for Rivian to end up in the other bucket to start the year, that's not the best sign in the world. And this is random, but someone just put in the chat, Neil, can you look at IBM short? And the simple fact that name came out, it definitely made me look. And you look at the daily chart, okay, my daily chart. IBM is not an IPO that just started out in October.
No, it is. It's a brand new company. Yeah.
Brand new company, right?
International Business Machines.
Have you seen, what's the movie with Jonah Hill where they sell weapons or whatever? I don't know. What There's a really good line about IBM in that movie. I forget the name. War Dogs or something?
Yes, that would make sense.
It was a good line. Well, someone in the meeting is like, yeah, well, he's like, what does your company stand for? And he's like, I don't know. It's just 3 letters. And he's like, what does IBM stand for? And the guy's like, International Business Machines. He's like, get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're fired. Get out of here.
That would be me.
And they stole that, of course, from Boiler Room, which is one of the greatest films ever made.
I'm sure everyone's seen Boiler Room.
But if you haven't seen Boiler Room and you love trading, you're into trading, make sure you watch that.
Just exit the chat and just go watch it now. You have my permission.
Not now. You can wait till 4.
Just leave the show, watch Boiler Room. We can come back tomorrow. It's a great recommendation.
It is a good recommendation.
Yeah, you're right.
Save
it for 4 p.m.
But why short IBM? I mean, it's actually been on a pretty solid run. You're going to get the div. My daily chart's not going to really show it. I suppose you could let it travel into the 140 to 145 range before it would be interesting for that. I don't think you're at the point where you want to short value right now. It's just for lack of a better term. So I don't know. I
like IBM.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say any reason why I would like to short it. If you were talking about the day trade, okay, then yes, this setup kind of makes some sense. But I don't know. There's some other names that are at highs that I think you could look at. You have a bit of a double top here. It's 136. I don't have any added significance to that level or a catalyst or a reason why I think it's going to give you a good return. But there are definitely worse things that you could look at in terms of a setup. But
worse things. I mean, look at IBM's daily chart.
Well, why would you want to short it?
No, you're right. That's what I'm saying. You have no. I mean, this is straight upside right here in IBM. We actually bought it on their last quarter, but we did dump it. I think I think when we broke around here, I'll have to double check, but I'm still long IBM, but I'm long down at like 118, something like that off of a few quarters ago. It's been basically dead money, but someone put in their international buyback machine. Yeah, that's what they do. They have the share buyback program. They're a dividend payer as well. I like IBM, man. I mean, straight upside. You might be too late to the party. I'd wait for a pullback if we're going to sit here and actually analyze the chart. We've talked about too far, too fast. This has happened to Ford and everything. You could get a pullback in. We talked about Ford's too far, too fast move. And by the way, how's this Ford trade right now working out for me here? Ford straight to the upside, man. We're like buy here, pre-market, not that many shares. Get an opportunity to load back up at 21 again. Are you kidding me? Ford, the #1 name. And thank you again so much, guys, for everything for today, because the sticky note has been hot fire. I don't know if this is the best day ever for sticky note, but it might be just from how much you guys are liking this. 136 likes, 25 retweets. We have Ford loaded up above 21. We talked about that. Load up NEO, load up PayPal. AMC we're still struggling with as that goes in Palantir. So right now, so far so good today, but we noticed early, man, that Ford was starting to break out. And there it goes. I'll put this in the chat here quickly. And this is the breakout that we were looking at. That's the sticky note. It's right here. It was just, it started, let me zoom back out here a bit. I guess it looks better on the daily chart. Where's my daily chart here on Ford? So here it is right here. It's just starting to break out above this 2050, right? And then today, I believe, for the first time I've seen it, and I could have missed it when I wasn't here, but Ford actually opening the day. I guess we opened the day on December 13th, which may have been a day I wasn't here, but that was up to 2150. This is the first day in a long time that we opened up above 21. So when we saw that, we definitely liked that opportunity, and there it goes. And I remember right here, this is the example I was talking about. Those of you, maybe Jude Fernando, or some of you that maybe, I haven't seen Jude today, but those of you that are looking around and that have been here for a while, I remember when I was talking about Ford, because we were long at $6 here when it went all the way to 16. And I said you got to kind of wait for pullbacks. This was too far off of the 50-period moving average, right? And then you can see right now Ford has kind of calmed down, and now the 50-period moving average is caught up completely with the stock. So now I expect another run away from this thing, that we consolidate downside and now get another big bump up. So sometimes there's a reason why I look at the 50-period moving average. You try to find some consolidation here and then a run off of it. So right now, it seems like it wants to go again, but Ford continuing to be a winner here on the long-term side of things. Ford and GM, I think, continue to work. If you've missed the Tesla trade, you spread out the wealth, but Ford, GM, Fisker are all the plays that I'm in, and Tesla, of course.
What? No, you're not in any Nikola? No.
I think I did have I did. So I've lost money on Nikola at some point in my life, but
you know what,
I don't hold shares now.
Hydrogen has stunk in general, because even if you're looking over at, I can pull up Plug right now, because I know that's probably been a bit of a dog. And of course, it's the same thing. It's a new year, but I'm still typing in NY instead of NQ, instead of, it's the other way around. And now today I'm going that way. But Plug actually up on the day. I saw it this morning and it got punked a little bit, but I actually see it trading back positive, at least for now, up about 50 cents on the session. Not a bad little run, but it's still going to have some trouble. It's trying to consolidate literally as we speak. You're going to get a nice little consolidation right here on it, below that 200-period moving average on Plug. It's the way that I would play hydrogen personally, as opposed to jumping into like a Nikola, but it needs to get back above this $30 level. I think if it can do that, that's what I'm eyeballing, maybe 30, 50 or so. Travel above here, then we'll like it a little bit better. That GNPX, by the way, GNPX. The other one that I'm in, because that IMMX starting to work, and then GNPX was working pretty nicely. I shorted it first time through. Instead of just getting one short here, I decided to average a price of $3 this way, which stunk. And then we got stopped out, got a lower consolidation. That worked all the way down to 280. Now it's starting to come right back in here. I'm still holding about a third of the trade, as it goes right back to that 310 level, that lower high being put on GNPX. So for now, it was working pretty well, but a pretty large volume spike here, as you can see, or maybe you can't see. If I do, how about if I do this? There you go. Pretty solid volume spike here on that last little push back up. So in the back of your mind here, anytime on counter trend, shorting off the high of the day, I kind of know if I see a big enough volume spike, I might want to be a little bit more aggressive. If it pops back down, I'm going to take some more shares out in the 80s. Forget about waiting down at 50 and 60 where I am for the bulk of my shares here. So might have to start getting a little bit more aggressive covering this short, because the buyers are stepping back into this one as Tesla makes another high of the day.
Oh man,
Where's that?
nothing. I'm looking for more and more names here. We added to our AMC trade on the downside here as it's bouncing off some of these key levels. This may break, but realistically, this is like the only thing right now. We just got more into the 70s. We did take some out into the 90s when we were talking about that. So, I mean, we're just sort of massaging this trade here, and we'll see where we go. But hey, this is AMC, man. This thing could pop or drop at any time. All of our other trades, we're going to go to Brendan, but we'll look at this. We talked about AMD. Like, yeah, let's go. We're on that one. $1 in the money now. AMD, 70 cents in the money on Ford. $1.40 in the money on NIO. 30 cents in the money on Palantir, $1.50 in the money with XPeng. So this just continues to make moves, man. Upside, let's go. The market is in rally mode, Santa Claus rally. Remember, man, I called this, but we were talking about this early, and it looks like it's heading in right now. Remember, it's the first 2 days of the new year, so maybe we get some fades in the next few. But wow, XPEV, I don't even know what to do here. This could turn out to be profitable after all. Let's get it back to opening trades here, 51.50 for XPeng. Let's go. What's up, Brendo?
Yeah, overall, market trying to make another push here. I mean, 0.5% for the S&P, not a bad day. Applied UV, we talked about briefly in the morning, this morning, up 31% on new technology. 370 was tested there. You can see huge volume came in at day highs, and it got faded slightly. Also, this Rely keeps going. Just keep in mind on this one, if you remember over the past week or so, as we were saying, this was one of those low float kind of crazy movers. 10.8 million shares on Rely, getting a whole bunch of attention still, guys.
I thought I said, well, I mean, 15 million is about to cross right now. I was just sort of checking back because someone said Intel high of the day on volume. Look, I mean, I like value this year, so you don't have to think about an Intel. But I did double check on another one, which I'm going to adjust what I think I want to do with Global Foundries at some point, because I don't think the 50s feel like they're going to come back anytime soon. So I'm starting to think about a dip at any 10%. At any point, if it pulls back 10%, I think that's what I'm going to look for here on Global Foundries. Up 3%, but it's not the only name that's going to have done that. You're going to get a lot of these moving here. And someone had mentioned Intel. Okay, so they're up as well, like a 3% move. And you're starting to see the overall space and start to extend out. AMAT having a nice day today. Marvell maybe not moving as much, but there's a lot of names in the semi space which I think are going to work this year. It's not too hard to pick some winners there. One name that we didn't really, well, we talked about this morning, but we haven't really mentioned at all is the travel space. Carnival, which was a good long that turned into a short at 2180, is now barcoding right above VWAP, holding on to the strength, maybe not rallying. So the fact that it's off of that high, you're right into that level on the daily chart that we talked about this morning at 2185. It's already rejected this once. As the market has continued to push higher, being led by tech over 1%, if there is any dip here and we start to turn right around, I mean, I think CCL might turn around here. You get the recovery, reopen type names, and they start to fall off when the market continues its run. Well, you could have a bit of a breakdown. And if this gets through VWAP, I think there's still some profit taking to be had. It's bounced off $20 from this morning. I didn't long it till 21. I think I wouldn't wait to short it, only off the high of the day. Obviously, if it comes back to 80s, I do like that short, same as before, but I might have to take this one if it gets below VWAP as well. Just watching it do absolutely nothing while I guess the tech and growth names start to rally the market even higher. You're seeing something like this in the travel space not do a heck of a lot. Great day for CCL altogether. No, don't get me wrong. But at this point, it's feeling like the next play for the day trade might be the short again.
Yeah, I mean, all these. I don't know. I haven't traded CCL today. I haven't traded any airlines, and that's why I just go ahead and recommend that Jets, because honestly, I mean, you're just policy changes away from anything happening to these plays. I mean, I know that's true of a lot of these things, like, you're one Chinese policy away from having something happen to XPEV, so on and so forth. But honestly, it's just the upside here on some of these names. Just, I don't really see them right now for CCL, for an LUV, or for any of these names that we're talking about. Sure, instantly on a day trade, great. But, I just find it's a little bit, I don't want to say silly, but I mean, I don't know where to get in on some of these names as a day trade, right? They're going to continue, in my opinion, to probably struggle here throughout 2022. And I know, and I've talked about this before, and people have said, well, airlines hedge oil costs and fuel costs. That's true, I know they do, but fuel has been quite high for quite some time now. If they don't have passengers, filling up seats in a time right now when honestly, and again, maybe we need somebody like from the airline sector, somebody coming on, maybe, I don't know, Daniel Shea does options, but maybe we can find somebody that covers the sector. But, I just feel like there's more headwinds than tailwinds for a lot of these airlines. So as far as that is concerned, I'm not really sure. For AAL, that's been a better day trade, I think, because it's only like CCL, a $19, $18 stock. So you can definitely look for that. I would say the moves, though, probably happen for today. You're going to get some barcoding. These are incredibly interesting names to trade, but they need news, right? They need something behind them. So for me, I'm going to wait for tomorrow, and we'll see what happens with some of these airlines, or not tomorrow, anytime really. And we'll see if we can pick up something on a little bit more of a value basis here, because honestly, like AAL, I don't know where to, and the problem is, and like I said, we need somebody out here that maybe knows, like I just can't project them forward. I don't really know where to think these are going over the next 6 to 12 months. I think it's too dependent on Dr. Fauci, the CDC, so on and so forth. So for me, it's definitely no. I'd rather stick with companies where we know where their profits are coming from, like the big cap tech companies, like a Caterpillar maybe, like a Nucor, again, but you still have the Build Back Better plan to go there, like a Nike, something like that. For right now, man, I'm staying clear away. And if any play, and it was a call of mine for 2022, we'll see if it continues to work, which it's been doing over the last couple of days. But I think Disney will continue to work here. If you want something in the travel space that doesn't rely solely on, getting butts back in seats, would have to be Disney. I just think that, if the opening happens, you have parks. This has been the biggest lagger in the Dow for 2021. So for me, man, it's all about Disney, and I'd rather park my money there, especially if they reinstate the dividend. I just think there's just more ahead for Disney rather than some of those other high flying, I guess, airlines.
Oh, I just noticed that route. Now I'm sort of like in between on this Reliant here. RELE. I was just looking at SE, and of course, when I flip to Reli, this doesn't flip for me. I was short just now on Reliant at the high of the day. I did not reverse into the long when it took out that level in the daily chart. Pardon me. There you go. It just took out that high, then had another capitulation candle. I prefer in these moves, and I know you can try to time that top. I much prefer to set it up to try to get a consolidation level. And if I do it again, I'm going to keep it a little bit tighter. So what I'm looking for the next setup is to get a consolidation lower, not think about letting it break the high of the day, but then give it, probably to like the next even number. So if it were to consolidate here at 25, maybe give it to a 950 and then put an area stop in where I can manage it. But it does feel like it's making a bit of a top. The last volume spike was a bigger one and then immediately tapered right back off to the levels it did before. So it's feeling like it's getting a little bit top heavy. I said I would get more aggressive ringing the register on GNPX, which has been a good one. But because of that volume spike, the last move upside, when it retested into 310, I said I'd get more aggressive, get some more shares out in the 90s. I still have bids down at 250, 260, up here at 275 as well, but have to start taking this one off. With only an hour to go, we're getting into power hour. Anything which is grinding higher at this point, even if it's worked for the short side of the trade, which this has, I got to start thinking about the fact that, hey, this trend, when it continues, if it still holds close enough to the high, you know what tends to happen, right? Like either it puts in the huge consolidation and you got nothing to worry about, or it's taking out the high of the day and putting another run in which case you have everything to worry about. I tend to plan for the worst and hope for the best. I have my stop in at that high. If it goes, I'm not reversing this one, but that I could have my mind changed if in the next like 20 or 30 minutes or so the volume can hold up here.
Yeah, my problem is I'm not in any names here.
Tesla 1200?
Okay, that could be something to look at, because honestly, it's like I'm already holding these longs. I'm waiting for more shares here, not more shares, but just different opportunity to get into something. And because everything I'm holding is well in the money, and I'm just saying that because it's true. And I'm trying to add to the positions, but right now nothing's really dumping in. I mean, Tesla's straight up. We've already talked about that. Where do you take this? I mean, how much do you want to hold this against yourself? You may not even have to. Is 12.5% enough? I mean, we have the market imbalances coming in 50 minutes, or I guess 45 minutes. We could see about what happens there. Well, 55 minutes. We could see what happens there. But for right now, Tesla 1200 might be something to fade. But I feel silly shorting Tesla today, that's for sure. So you're waiting for some pullback. So maybe what? Tesla 1190? But see, the problem is when you're into a name like Tesla, it's hard to find your way out. Like, this could go down $10 against you. If you're in at 90, it goes down to 80. I mean, is that worth getting out? I don't think so. It doesn't look like it's profiling very good to get out down here. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in the middle of something here. What about Facebook? We can look at that. SOPA has been a stock that we've known moved. ISIG, what was another late runner? There's been a few good late runners that we've traded here on the show a couple times where I've held them and gotten late pops, but that could be what's happening. And right now I'm really just I'm not concerned, but there goes AMC right back up to the upside. So feeling like a little bit of Superman here as we've been holding this one as AMC now a whopping 7 cents in the money. We're hella positive on this name today. We knew we were in trouble up here. That's why we got out. That's why we're not holding this trade, right? We've been averaged in down here, waited patiently for 27. Here we go. We've already been up here. I think it's smart to take out a piece if we can get 95s maybe. 94, I just put a 95 offer and you can see what happened. Ran away from that, but maybe we get a 95 there. It's double topped a little bit here on AMC. I really need to put the AMC guy in, but we'll just do this. Come flying in on your jet and rent a theater out. I don't know, just going on this way. I don't have the AMC guy there. Yeah, hopefully have some success. Oh, shoot. Have some success there on AMC. I'm missing that 95 every time it comes back up and down here. So we'll wait to see. Hopefully we get filled on this one. But AMC now 6-7 cents in the money. I'm not happy with this, but I think we need to take a piece out so that if we want to, we can reload again. And then I don't have any offers other than this, except for up here at 20 in this range. So if we can get back up here for AMC, great. But first step, let's take this dime out and then work from there. But I don't know, man. GNPX. I mean, I know you've been in that one.
It's been a good one.
That's trying to move.
It's right back to the top, man. I just took some more shares out of it. And it's like now I'm down to essentially like 30% left, and I don't feel like it wants to go down to VWAP. Someone asked in the chat about Datadog. It's been ugly today for Datadog, and there's a few names that have absolutely. It's a good one. There's been a few names that have gotten really, really badly beaten up today. Datadog being one of them. Firm's not having a very good day, and I think it's been a pretty solid run for this company, but a little bit further. I mean, if we were already down at 150 to 155, I'd be thinking about bottom. If you look at the last time it made literally this exact move in the beginning of December, it put in the same move, like 180 down into like 160 in a couple of days. Then it had a wick off bottom into 152 and came right back into that range. 1 time, 2 times. This would be the 3rd time it does it. 3rd time is usually not a charm for a pattern like this. I feel like if it goes there again, it's probably breaking down, and it would not be crazy if this thing were to see the 200-period moving average down at 135, 140. It's a kind of thing that can start to happen this year to some tech names, and that's just the reality with the environment that we're going to be in. But obviously, it has yet to happen. It's just day one. But just look back to history at that price level at 155. I don't see a reason why. You would have to jump into this one today. Every time it's come down here, it's tested a little bit lower, and you've had a chance to be able to get in. I think I'll probably take a shot at Tesla 1200. Now, keep in mind, everyone's like, yeah, I saw someone was like, stop shorting things. If you're not sitting holding a long, and the longs I had from the morning I've already sort of cut off, you're starting to look for the next day trade. And Tesla 1200, because I don't know where I would be out if I took a long, like Sean was saying. I don't know where I'd be out. If I took a 1193 long thinking it's going to 1200, it's all well good to think it can go $5 or $6 for you, but where am I going to place my out? Randomly at 1190? Just because it's a round number? I don't want to do that. So the trade I can structure is getting short in front of a $1,200 level. Like the first time it gets up there, if it tries to roll over within a buck or so, I know I can stop out just above that 1,200 level, and there's a decent chance as a psychological level that there could be some money there to be had. So with an hour to go, it feels pretty inevitable that Tesla's going to try to make a push into there. If I had a level I liked, I would be trying to play into that long side. At this point, I mean, unless you bought it, the previous high, like the double top here in the morning, would have been this 1175. So I think sitting in it here in front of 1175 was probably the best structured long you could have late, where the risk to reward I could make sense of. Now it's just about shorting in front of 1200 for me.
People like that woof woof thing there in the chat there. So that's
woof?
yeah, that woof woof. I don't know, the one that he puts about Brendan.
But who hit that?
He does. Rob, we don't have it over here, but I was telling him that it's a very, very popular one in the chat. I feel like he's going to hit it again here in a couple seconds. But yeah, so that's a good one. Thank you for again. So there it is. We did take a 91 or 92 there on AMC as it's just been bouncing around. I just thought, like, why am I going to wait for 95 here? It's bounced around a couple times. So, now 95 is going to come out. So this is a play that we're looking at. And I'm thinking right now, like, we have multiple. I have $1.30 on AMD, $1.30 on NEO, $1.50 on XPeng. AMD is getting into this area that I can't be more happy with, to be honest with you. We have a great little long here on AMD. Hit it. It's coming back in. We may dump below this 150.50, so that's going to be an area, I guess, of concern. Ever since someone mentioned IBM, that stock is going up and away. See IBM to the upside right now. 150, yeah. So I think this is a decent call here to get out. 150.47 or so here for AMD. So if we break back down below 150, I'm just looking here at a 3-minute chart. You know, we do have volume weighted average price back down here at 150 on a 3-minute, but we also have a 3-minute moving average here on this. So that's 150.50. I actually like that back into here, just in case we're not going to the high side. Well worth getting this out. We're long at 149.50, so it's $1 on AMD right now, and that's going to be a good trade. We already did take out, you know, off this long 149.40. We took it out at 150 flat. So let's let this breathe a little bit, but down here 150.50, just to see if we could take that out. There are some levels there, and I just don't, you know, like, it could break this, and on a negative NASDAQ, we may fall back into this area. So for me, well worth taking some profits here. 150.50 on AMD. I mean, I like it. I think it will work. We are now into the power hour. Intel taking out day's high, which is no surprise.
I just want to say one thing, because I know we get new viewers all the time, and I know we do this every single day. So it's kind of, it's old hat for us to maybe forget to explain a few things. A couple times people have asked, hey, are you in this, or are you trying to buy it at that price? What you see on the screen, I should point down instead of look at my program monitor when I do this. What you see below, those are the positions we currently have and the average price that we hold. So I'm short IMMX at 777, right? So I'm not looking to get it to that price. That's just the price that I currently have. If you look at our charts, purple arrows pointed down, those are short sells. Green arrows are obviously buys. And then red arrow to the downside means selling out of a long position. So that's a distinction to be made there. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And someone saying they couldn't short, Stephen Howard saying they couldn't short IMMX. We had to pay for locates on this here at Day Trade the World. So it was not free to get the locates, as is the case with a lot of these small cap, low float runners. A lot of times you're paying a decent price per share, reasonable, sometimes 10, 20 cents a share. I think in this case, it might have been closer to 30 cents a share for IMMX availability. Always check with your broker, but sometimes not every broker is going to have shortable shares available. That's just the way things work. We tend to be able to, at least at a minimum, be able to pay for something that's hard to borrow. And Tesla 1200, I mean, from the time I just said, if I could find myself structuring along to 1200, I would do it. You would have made $3. I just don't know where I would have been wrong. That's all.
Yep. And yeah, and that's, I mean, it's all about picking out your spots, picking your wins, picking your losers, and understanding where the risk is. And that's why on this AMD trade, I'm choosing to get out here, because I'm understanding that if the market does fall down, there is some risk associated with that one. Let's check back in on Win, man. I mean, Win's been a good call for me. I just, in this name now, I think my average price is something around $82, $83. I really like Win. And again, I talked about Disney being a good reopen play. I like Win for what it means in Macau there. Again, though, with record COVID numbers across the world, I believe, anyways, today. It seems like every day is new, so I don't know the numbers for today, but over the weekend we were hitting some peaks. As you can see right here, I feel like in a world where COVID is still obviously wreaking havoc and shutting down hospital ICUs and things like that, like the fact that Win is up here, and the fact that we have great members like Damien that's told us a few times that, you know, he's been in Vegas and it's popping. People are loving life there. I love Win. I like their properties, and I like the fact that you're getting the company for free here at some of these prices. So let's see what happens with Win. I'm a buyer all the way down. This is a name that I do like, but for now, it's Brendan time, and then hopefully Ms. V time soon as well, because we need to get these likes up.
Just noticing Anheuser-Busch, guys, another one having quite the day. Not one that I was paying attention to today, but this popped up just as we went off, actually, in the morning, just after 11 o'clock. 5% day highs here on volume for BUD.
This, bud, is for you. That's interesting. I mean, I'm not sure the catalyst there, but a strong move for them. You would think that with, I guess, well, in-person dining getting kind of the punk here, and of course, sporting events as well being no fans allowed, that you might be able to get some downward action, but the market is forward-thinking at least, so good look for Bud. I've re-entered into Rally on a lower consolidation here, this time in front of 9, giving it to 9.25 instead of high of the day, and here it comes. I mean, Tesla's now at 98, so...
Did you put the short on yet, or you're waiting for the breakout?
I wanted to get to like 99, ideally, before I get short. Was that, I think, finally Ms. V?
I think it's Ms. V, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey guys, it's like o'clock. I know you're busy, or if maybe you just joined us, team, I remind you, we really need your likes. Please smash the like button, support the community. And wow, even Tesla, more than 13% to the upside, almost 1,200 today. So guys, please go long on the like button, go Tesla on the like button. Back to you guys.
We were just sort of talking here. We're like, wait a minute, did Ms. V trade? I know we've told Ms. V to trade some small caps, diversify the types of symbols, but hey, it would have been a good one today to just literally buy Tesla and then just don't do anything else. That certainly would have worked out. It was on the watch list for the great delivery numbers as well. So maybe when you come back in 5 or 10 minutes, Ms. V, you can talk about what I'm hoping are some winning Tesla trades. I just said I was waiting for 99s and got to 98.34. And this is the thing, if I'm going to go against it, the grain here, and look for the short off 1200, at the end of the day, I'm willing to miss the trade instead of just sort of getting it in too early and then having to average up and then losing a little bit more than you want to. No, I'd rather get in under my terms. Like I was looking for it to, and I'll zoom in here so these crazy wicks from the morning don't show up. I just wanted to extend like one parabolic move in here to 98, maybe put in a second, and then overextend itself. The fact that it actually pushed to 98 and consolidated, well, now I want an even better price because I would have wanted to see a big time strong push up that's going to trap some people like long at the top of a move like that, and not a consolidation right below. Like I said, I got back into Rally. I was looking for a couple of things here. One of them was a lower high consolidation. I didn't get this one. So I took the one at $9 instead, not giving the high today. That's where my stop order is going to show you the actual execution price. I'm actually crossing all the way up to 950. I won't get that much slippage on the 925 level. I'm going to have some bids in front of this level, in front of 850, and then down to 825, and then 8 for VWAP. Those are the levels I'm looking for there. And out of the corner of my eye, I note Tesla, hey, if I got in too early, 98.75. It looks like it went to, and you could have had a couple of bucks, but you know, I got to get the price that I want. I got to get the entry that I want to be able to hold the trade.
Yeah, so remember what Neil's talking about there on Tesla is that he's going to take the short and then, I guess, out on the break, right? So yeah. So
I might give it to like quarters at 1,200 just to give it a little bit of room, but not too much.
What do you mean 12? What do you mean quarters? 12?
Like not 12.25, but like 1,225 cents.
Oh, 25. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not giving it to 25 bucks.
Yeah, when it breaks 1,200, it's going right to 1,202. So I wouldn't. Don't worry about the quarter. Hopefully you get the quarters. I mean, that's I honestly, and that's another thing. Slippage, guys. You want to talk about slippage? That's another thing. So Neil and I just talking about that. Oops, I'll put on Tesla. I don't know why it's on win right now. If you do want to get long, and we had a great question on our Q&A, and thank you to everybody for attending the Q&A. We had so many questions, and that's something that we'll wait to see the feedback, and we'll wait to see how that goes. But that's something that maybe we should do monthly at the last day of every month, not just the last day of the year. We could do a little bit of a Q&A, organize a little bit better, put the questions on the bottom. It was just a fresh run through, but thank you so much. Someone asked about program trading, and this is why I'm saying to Neil, it's going to have to be way more than 12.00 quarter. Like even right now, you have a 25-cent spread, right, guys? So like when this breaks through 1,200, imagine the limit orders that are going to go off. So you got to be a little bit careful on where you're, like right now, it's 30 cents right there. Watch out for the slippage on the upside. So if you're trying to go long at 1,200, I would cross up to like at least 12.01, knowing that you could get filled at 01, and you're going to have to give yourself, in that case, slippage back down to the downside. But here it comes, Neil, 197.90 right now. Tesla just, close. Yeah, it's just like stepping up, guys. Big time movement upside here on Tesla. It doesn't look like it wants to stop at all. I'm still looking for more names. That Relay is back down to, not back down, back up to $9 here again, off a bounce at about 8 and change. So that's a name to look at down here. But yeah, I don't know. Waiting for Relay to pop and waiting for some other names. Like we have our sort of our scanners going off here. That's why my eyes are always going up. DraftKings kind of got going today, then didn't. So that's another name, maybe DKNG. I'm also, guys, looking at like Ethereum Trust. It's just not much is moving right now, or else we would be in some of these names. DraftKings at the bottom, maybe here, could be picked up well. Neil, I know you talked about Hood earlier, but
it's just holding off the
I know,
highs.
like I'm just wishing that something would be moving here. That's why I'm like holding out hope that AMC eventually gets above that 27.
That's why I'm staring at Tesla here, and I'm in real eye just taking pot shots at it. And someone asked, it was Day Trading Mom asked about GNPX. I'm telling you, man, this stock just keeps grinding higher, and I just keep taking more out every time it dips. I'm gonna just have to start getting even more aggressive because it's starting to feel like it is making that run towards that high of the day, and I don't want to get punked on this thing. Tesla just actually got really, really close there, so. It looks like I might be able to get 99s, particularly here. My chart shows 11.99.40, even though I'd swear it didn't really break 99s by much. But that's what you mean by slippage. Like it probably did, and there was like a few prints up there. I'm now into Tesla, so I'm basically risking like $1 or so, maybe a little bit more than that. Whoops, I'm still on GNPX there. I'm basically risking like $1 or so on Tesla. And again, everyone's going to structure the way they want. If I'd shorted it at like 98 the first time and been willing to sort of get this stock at, call it $2 away, that would have already worked, but then that would have also violated my rule. So ultimately, I don't take the trade until it gives me $1 plus slippage worth of risk, and then now I can sort of, these wicks are crazy from the morning. Now I can sort of sit down here and say, okay, well, if it comes down to 96, I'm getting 3 to 1 on that trade, maybe a little bit less than that, 2.5 to 1. And then if it comes down to the 90 to 95 range, that's even better than that. So again, we got Tesla on right now. Hopefully we can get a nice little quick winner. It's all about the day trade here. Brendan.
Another one making moves here into the close, guys. Black box stocks, which, if I remember correctly, is a recent SPAC conversion. Back on, what day was this? November 10th, this thing turned to BLBX. Volume coming in here at day highs for BLBX.
Oh, okay, black box stocks going. Yeah, look at XPeng right now, back to basically day's high. I'm going to call this day's high here because honestly, like besides it dipping down, we're back nicely down here. We just got out of something. Oh, crap. Oh, no, I had an offer there. That's right. Oh, I just got out of XPEV. No, I didn't think we'd go up there, but hey, man, we'll ring the register on that one, and the diamond hands come through. I was actually sitting at 50-50. And I can remember this because I talked about it on the main show. I said my out is not until 50-50, and here I am just sitting here, and I didn't even notice that I had that out there, but okay. Anyways, there it is, a nice dollar. I mean, we could talk about this. That's too bad. You got to get out at some point anyways. $1.70 there for the win on XPEV. So there it is, man. Yes, really, really happy with these Chinese EV names today. Let's not make the same mistake for NIO here. Okay, good. We're still long 32. As NIO right now taking out, and I'm only calling it the day's high because, other than the pre-market, which we called not to take anything long here, and we waited. This is why it's the trade of the day coming through right now. And now that I zoom in here on this, this would normally, I wanted to show you how this looks different than AMD. Breaking back down here is different than the AMD chart break. So I don't need to get out if we break 40s. I mean, this is just bouncing around. I don't think that makes any sense really to get out if we break above 40. But what you could see here is you could sort of draw, I don't know, I don't really draw these. Oh, there we go. That's pretty close right there. So as you can see, and maybe I can zoom in now, that actually worked out pretty good here. So, tap, 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 tap in right there. So you can see, is that, who sings that? Saw Wet or Sweetie or something? Anyways, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Sweetie, I think. Tap, tap, tap in. But there we go. So, this is more like the break that I'm concerned with here. So 33, 30, something like that, all the way up. We've come in and just really, really enjoyed that move all the way to the upside. So it's been a good one here. Nice little run for NIO. You don't see me draw lines, but when it looks this obvious, we might as well draw one there. So you're going to the upside, and it's kind of like almost, if this was more of a straight line, it's almost like a reverse flag. But right there, you could also flag this out at the top and just draw something like this. We've already, right now, you see, we've already taken this out. So it's already just bumped above this level here. So on what a nice chart here, we'll see where it goes. But you have your outs on the downside just in case it breaks. But I'm not going to use this as a breaking point. The market's just battling around. But there it is right there on NIO, man. Yes, good trade there. AMC, I wish it was doing some more. But for right now, it is not. So AMC putting us to sleep a little bit. But NIO, XPEV all out.
Yeah, so, I just noticed this. Roblox looked like it was trying to get back above $100 there for at least a little bit, then had this little bit of a capitulation just as we passed into power hour, held the low of the day at 99, and is now grinding a little bit lower. So again, a name that evaluation is going to matter a little bit, maybe getting sold off today. It didn't feel like this would be necessarily a bad Roblox day, but much like Affirm, some sellers coming into it. That $100 level looks like an interesting price level for psychological reasons, but look how choppy it is around that range. Like, that's going to tell me, do not get caught in the trap of $100 at Roblox. You know, just sort of look at the past history. The 50 period's up at a 105 level on the daily chart. This is where your resistance is, 105, up in here to 108. That $100, look how choppy it is up and down. It's basically just chewing up day traders and spitting them out in both directions, going like a buck or so. So I want to see it traveling away from that particular price. I think you're breaking out above 5 and 6. I think to the downside, obviously down here like 94, 95 is going to be interesting if it's a 2-day sell-off. Much the same way I'm looking at a firm and kind of thinking about that low $90 level, which I think is going to come into play a lot earlier into the year than I thought was going to be the case, because we're already at 95 and a firm is right here. My 15-minute chart wants to complete loading up, but this 95 has been holding at least the last couple of weeks of the year. You got the 200 period on a firm down here at 92, so it's not going to take very long for a firm to get into such a key level. That can break, and then you go back to September. Final quarter, that was resistance turning into support here at 87. So, you know, from a longer time frame, I think 87 to 92 is your target entry point where I'm looking to buy it. But for the day trade, any kind of a snapback, that 200 period moving average feels like it's coming into play tomorrow morning on a firm.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for your comment and your super chat here. Yeah, make sure you pay your taxes. Hopefully you have profits to do that. And that's the one thing that I was like realizing too. I hate writing that check, but you know, at least you're giving up part of your profits. And I think that whether or not you agree with the capitalist society or not, that is part of trading. So thank you, Mike, to remind people. I don't know the rules, of course, so I am not going to speak on paying taxes in the U.S. But those of you in Canada, pretty easy to figure out what's going on with that here. So yeah, that.
Oh goodness.
GNPX.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's ripping right now.
We had a great question on the chat, and we had it. Someone even asked it today. What do you do when you make a keystroke error? Remember how I said I was getting more aggressive on GNPX, getting shares out? Well, as I was doing that and taking outs here 82, and then out here at 85, and then out a couple of times here in the 90s. I didn't adjust my stop order. So when it broke this lower high consolidation, I reversed into an accidental long. Now, is it breaking higher? Would it have worked? Yeah, sure. Like that 10, it's actually sitting at 15. Maybe it breaks the high of the day, but I just got out right away. And it's a key level where I had that. So again, it's a situation where I didn't have to panic because it was breaking a key level. That's why I was getting out of the short at that price. But I'm just going to cover it. Like, I didn't mean to be long here. I just meant to be covering the short. So you're going to see it try to run to the upside. Tesla looks like it's going to end up being a flat trade because it was able to come down, hit a first target, and then could take out 1,200. If that's going to be the case, then essentially I'm not really going to make, and I'm not really going to lose either. It'll just be almost a nothing burger. But again, that's why I like on something like this, taking multiple levels in and out. And there is some, like Trader Prad just mentioning, there is some size at 1,200 here. So I suppose I could reload. Well, the way that it's screaming right now, I'm good. I don't think I'm going to reload at all.
Yeah, no, we're going to get ready to take that long
that
through
is a long
1,200 for sure. AMD pulling back in a little bit. This could be. Do I have my AMD stops out? I do. 150.50. Okay, so we'll be out of this one if it does break back down. And the reason why I was talking about this as opposed to NEO right now, you can see right there a completely different level. We've already been up here, so we're not like breaking the top. We're breaking back down below levels here. So that's why we're trying to get it. So there it is. Nice little win for NEO, man. We diamond hands that one as best we could. We should have gotten out for 50 cents better than, well, not we should have. I just talked about why we shouldn't have, but the trade was up there, and we could have gotten out based on the high of the day, given that an extra 50 cents there. But there it is. Some nice wins for us on AMD, another profitable name for us. We have one negative name today, and it's actually like AMC. Nice profits on AMC today. I don't even think this can crack 50 and it would matter at this point. It wouldn't matter. That would still be a profitable name. AMD, the writing's on the wall for that one. Ford, come on. I mean, we're loving Ford. You guys know that. That's a good trade. We're still in this. Like, how could this not be a winner for us today? NIO, $1.50 in the money. no outs lower than our bids. Palantir, I know Amir Zing. I see what you're saying there. Maybe Sean doesn't notice. No, I'm noticing. I'm in Palantir right now. But again, it's like there's not enough momentum in the name here for me to do anything about this. Like that was a nice move. And again, breaking this 35, fine. But honestly, it didn't profile that it would bump up 10 cents. I didn't think it would. I mean, it profiled to bump up 10 cents back to today's high. But I didn't see that this 35 right here would have meant anything, because we took out some of these levels and not much happened, like 33s, 30s, but this 35 for some reason just got taken out there and it bumped up. So I think that that's kind of like a little bit of a fluke. If you're in a decent amount of share size right here on Palantir, this might be an opportunity to get out. Just like take your 10 cents. I hope it flies. And what I'm doing here, and again, we had our little New Year's resolutions and things like that, try to hold on to stuff a little bit more, not really focus too much on daily goals or anything. Just make the right trades, ring the register. And again, it just happens to be that today is another big time day. But, you got to be stay as humble as you can with some of these names, because you never know when they're just going to snap your neck again. Today we had some lucky, I don't know if it's lucky, but we did hold down here on Palantir. Again, going back days and days and days to look at this 1780 range. I mean, we've been back down here. I remember this earnings report is clear as day back in May, where it got hammered and then wound up positive. Kind of like that Lucid day where we traded like $14.50. You weren't here, Neil, but $14, $15 that day. And then honestly, after that, it just came right back and started to rip to the upside. So we'll see if Palantir gets the same excitement. I think they're a couple upgrades away, because the market doesn't really care about Palantir getting new contracts or anything. This is a long-term play. You got to stick this in your account and hold it. But for right now, Palantir just kind of hovering around 18, man. We have to get really excited once this thing breaks 20, but until then, it might just be more of the same.
I see you, Ronnie Boy. Ronnie Boy saying maybe there's a Tesla capitulation. No, I'm obviously hoping that the short works out even further than this, but when you pull back, and again, the wick from the morning, if you could have gotten long at 1050, that would have been fantastic. You can. It's not a real price. But in perspective, we are still $30 away from VWAP. We're $20 away from where it was consolidating just at 2 o'clock, right? Like, when we came, like 2 o'clock, the stock was at 1175. Like, we've pulled back, from the high here, 99 short, it got to 1200 exactly. It's down at best like $5 or $6. So it hasn't really capitulated. On the flip end of the coin, and I guess it's not really, it's kind of the same coin. I don't know what I'm saying there. Lucid has pulled back a little bit too, but that's not a lot. It's 50 cents from the high. The stock is up $3 still overall. So it is a bit of a pullback in both these names. I'm just looking to take some profit in front of 90s if I can, not trying to hit the home run. Someone asked me on GNPX levels, I thought. Right here, 330, which it just broke out of. From there, looks like $4, maybe a clean move. I accidentally got long. If I hold on to it, it's a winner, but that doesn't mean it was the right thing to do. Brendo.
Just going through some other groups and names having big days. Here's one of them. Exxon, guys, having, I'll show you the chart in a second, but we're talking about upgrades this morning. There was Credit Suisse, Scotiabank, and JP Morgan out with positive notes on Exxon specifically, but also on energy stocks, talking about the upside for oil. But XOM just making a day high as we speak here, 63.5, trying to clear some of these levels over here on the daily chart.
Yeah, you might notice that I've sort of stopped talking negatively, not negatively, but not really wanting to short. We've talked about putting on some shorts into Exxon. I never did put those. We put the puts on here, and we should have put them on here when we were talking about them, but we didn't. And it goes all the way back. I mean, we would have had something around the 200 period. So missed opportunity, no point in talking about it. But oil, I've read a lot of reports here that believe oil is going to make a new high at some point this year. So if that's true, CL $F on E signal here. If we call up a daily chart, I'll just show it in because I actually don't remember it on the Day Trade the World system right now. I think it's the same thing. It's CL, but you could see upside here, $84. You're now crossing above the 50-period moving average on light sweet crude here. $76 closing today. I know it's bouncing around. The market's closed for oil, but we'll see if it comes back to the upside. 85. That's at the CME. $85. $84.50. About the high. I think we can take that out. It tried to fall back in, but it just came back to past support. So there we go. Something just happened to me there. What was it? Was it NIO?
I'm out of Tesla.
Something just came out. NIO. Oh, my Tesla tried. Did Tesla just break?
No, Tesla came. Well,
okay, good. I was like, I'm not in Tesla.
No, couldn't. Yeah, it didn't go long. Tesla actually came to the downside. It just broke 90s. I actually got out in front of it at like 92 on this little wick down here. So it's going to end up working out. We'll go with it. And again, whether you shorted it, here's the thing. If you shorted it at 95 or 96 in front of 12, it works. If you shorted it at 11.99, it worked. If you shorted it at 11.99.99, it worked. But you just have to find the entry that makes sense to you risk to reward. So because I was taking the tighter stop short at the top, it's a higher probability the tighter it gets to here, the greater chance that it breaks, right? So the tighter it is to the top, usually the more of a scalp I'm going to make it, because the way I see it is I want to win. If I'm going to win on such a small percentage where it's likely to break and have that tight stop, then I want to make sure it works for me and I'm taking my profit and running in that particular case and not trying to hold on to it forever. So again, maybe it comes down to VWAP. I'm not going to sit here hoping that that's going to be the case. At the end of the day, it's entirely too strong. Still up 13%. Even with this pullback, it's about structuring a trade that you can just make money on, and then going back to the well if I see another setup again. Checking back in on that GNPX, it's still going here. So strong mover, so slow flipping. Strong mover now up to this 350 level. I think $4 is a more significant level. Maybe it'll come there tomorrow. I don't really see a reason to go against the grain here to the short side, and I'm still in Reliant, which is also the name of a ship in Star Trek. But you guys probably don't know that. Reliant, I did take some shares out in front of this consolidation here. I just canceled a bid that I didn't want in at 850 because I already got out there. I'm going to get more shares out as I say that. Get on the bid, Neil, get on the bid. Gimme. Fill. Why am I sitting there at 37 and you can't fill? Trying to get some shares out in front of this level, 825 to 840 or so. Just got that fill now, so we'll ring the register for Reliant, which is starting to capitulate as well. So look, I swung and missed the first time. I missed my second entry and then was able to get it a third time. So you stick to it, sort of stick to your rules, follow your setups, find something that works, and the market's going to continuously give you opportunities. Don't be afraid to miss out on a trade. Like, I would rather miss a trade than break a rule. That usually is a pretty good way to look at things. Obviously, sometimes you'll miss the trade and you'll get that FOMO and you'll force the action. I've done it. Everybody's done it. You'll get in too early. You'll not have a tight enough stop, which I had done here. But if you go right back to the well too quickly and don't structure it right, then maybe I'm stopping out twice and not getting back into this trade. So Rely comes back down and Tesla bounces off 1190. I wouldn't be too surprised if we're talking about a 1200 break tomorrow. So this is a day trade only when we're talking about Tesla.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. I mean, every stock we're talking about is day trade only here on the show. And thank you guys for watching. Great short there on Tesla. So yeah, great off that 1200. That's what you got to wait for. So we'll see if it comes back up. I don't know what it's at right now. That trade that we got out of was NEO. So obviously it came back in right there, and we got out of NEO. So another good name for me today. Obviously, we're flat on that stock, and we'll wait to see. Yeah, we're flat on that, and we're flat on XPeng as well. And again, we just picked 50-50 because I mean, there was really nothing there why we picked that level. We just happened to be sitting there, and I'm lucky that we were, because we were able to get out, and now it just faded back in. I mean, it's 25-cent winner at that point. But again, when you trade around those levels, like we said earlier, when we were asking, what could beginning traders do, and it's just, stick to some of your rules. Okay, Clover's as well. Clover is as well moving to the upside here today, up another 9%. Maybe Clover has found a bottom. It doesn't really matter. It looks good on the chart, but it doesn't look good on a day chart. You could see Clover just not really doing anything. We've been buying some of these. I think I have to find out where the last buy was, but it has to have been somewhere around here, because it definitely wasn't in the last week. So Clover still off its very, very bottom. I think my average price on this is like 7 and change something. So Clover and PaySafe are just names where they're just stuck waiting for something to happen. So we're going to see if Clover can get going. Who knows, man? These are just like shots in the dark on some of these names. And then SoFi, again, we're trying to put in some, I don't want to say everyone's account is different. So, I mean, trade it accordingly. But I still like SoFi down here near 14. That really hasn't worked yet today. Again, you get a big dip down and a big move off the open. And since then, it's really, barcode nation here. 150.50 still for AMD. Looking at names, Apple's right back upside now, looking at again day's high. So the Apple move doesn't last very long to the downside, but it does come to 181.70. So that could have been bought. There is the 3 trillion. Remember, this was 1 trillion back in 2018 when they hit that for the first time. And now it's tripled up in 3 years. So I like Apple to move forward. And again, very, very strong name. Just based on the chart, though, I think you got to spread it out. If you went half Apple, half Microsoft, called it a day on big cap tech, you'd probably be fine with all of those. The only other concern stock that we really haven't looked at here has been this one, Ford. And I just say we're not really too concerned about it. Not much really happening here. It's taken out its past 21-year highs. We're long this name. I'm going to get out if it takes out this move here, 21.75. So we're getting very, very close to emptying out the bullet here on Ford. And that's about it, man. We only have 20 minutes left until the imbalances. I hope we're doing a good job. I know we need Miss V a hell of a lot more on the screen.
We're asking her about Tesla. I want to see if
so we're going to ask her about Tesla, if she's been trading that here. And also, we have 777 on the likes. I'd like that to say 1111 if we can. So hit the likes. I think we've been doing a good job here, looking at a lot of different names. Great trade on Tesla for you. A few things here, AMC and so on and so forth. When Miss V's ready, we're going to throw it over to her. So I don't know if you guys are using Unity or mine's not on, but I haven't heard a call on this in forever. So let us know. And on point, what's up, Miss V?
Hey guys, just 30 minutes left until the end of the very first trading day of 2022. Please make sure you like this video. We literally need just 100 more likes to get 1,000. And if we break that level, it will be awesome. So team, please be supportive and like this video. Back to you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like
it a lot. I'm not liking the fact that Oracle's flat on the day, but that's neither here nor there. I was just checking in on some things there, and someone was asking this. Someone put this in the chat, and again, I don't know anything about other brokers, but they were saying there was issues getting leverage on Roblox. I've heard of this. We've heard of this before for things like GameStop and AMC, but Roblox, that's an interesting one. So Roblox down today. And then, again, I'm not saying whether it's true or not. You guys just put it into the chat, and I saw it there and thought that was interesting and noted the weakness that it had there. So, yeah, if that's still true tomorrow, maybe that's something worth monitoring, and maybe that's part of the weakness here. I'm just going to hang on to what we have. In the last 30 minutes, I'm looking to see, like, if GNPX, look, 350 obviously could have been a level, and it just did a failed break there. When someone asked me for levels, I was looking at like $4 on it. I obviously had tried it a couple of times for the short side, and 350 looks like it will have been a good one. But you can't just chase a random price. Well, you could. It's just if you don't have the confidence in the level, well, then you're not likely to make a good trade. So that's the only reason I can say for not trying it again up here, even though it looks like it's going to fail. Brendo.
Just checking on this SEAT, SEAT, which is Vivid Seats, yet another former SPAC just popping up on some volume. Citigroup actually out this morning, guys, with a buy on this one, but I guess it took all day for the right people to find out. Big volume here for SEAT.
10 is fine.
Good ticker.
Yeah, good ticker for sure. Let's do a quick look here at some crypto names. I was just looking at HUT, and it's not doing anything, as you could see here. Let's go to the portfolio. These are just in order here. Bitcoin down right now over the last hour, small, but over the last 24 hours, 2 and a bit % there on BTC, 3% on Ethereum. Binance Coin now number 3. Okay, that's interesting. Took out, well, Tether really shouldn't count, but I guess Binance Coin then therefore has always been there. So BNB there as well as we go on. So just to look here at some of the crypto names, I don't really see anything really outperforming. Chainlink outperforming right now 2.8%. Algorand, another one that I see a lot of people talking about all the time, still going upside. So just a quick look in here, not much happening. Cardano that I support is down here at 1.32. Again, a lot of disappointing stuff coming from a lot of these names. I thought that there'd be a little bit better reaction to the new year, but again, maybe that's just not a factor at all. So we'll wait to see if crypto can get going. By far, I would not put a fork in anything. And if you're getting impatient with crypto, then you're probably not in it for the right amount of time here, because crypto is going to be up and down and quite volatile for us. And that, again, let's just check out HUT. This is a name that I've been buying on dips. I mean, I hold a lot of altcoins, but again, HUT's been at a pretty key level. It's pretty flat today. Again, big movement. Like, there's not much moving, man, other than that Tesla 1200 trade. But you can see here, HUT this is why I'm trying to buy this name up. Well, am buying it up. We're at some nice levels right now. We've just come off from 16. It's been cut in half, just like a lot of these other names. But you know, rather than getting my money into more money into PaySafe or something like that, we're trying to put some money into this name. HUT, I like it. You know what another interesting name is that's off, and I don't really know why today. Rocket Companies is up, but Rocket Companies is up again. Just another depressed name on the daily chart if and when it ever loads. This could just be going upside just because, again, on the day. There's been a few names like that have just been beat down here. Rocket, it's all-time low right here, just made on Friday. So a nice little bump upside. For me, I'm not interested in this until we get above the 50 period, but I have been hearing people talk a little bit more about rocket companies. I'm still long a little bit of this at 18 or 19, but again, not a great name here for moving forward. I don't like companies that aren't making much money. So Rocket Company, we'll see what's in store for this one, but Tesla's right back up to 1197 right now.
And you might see one less position for me. I'm going to go, I can't hit the congratulations because crypto is going down, so I'll hit this key because I'm on that page. And yeah, I'm a DC guy over Marvel, I think in general, so we can go Superman. I know you're going to be excited about that, Pratt, but it's a pretty easy thing to say. If you're into comics, the quality is better with DC. It just is what it is. Their heroes are better. But you know who makes the better movies? It's Marvel. This IMMX, it got to $6. I gave it a chance to break. It did. It snapped right back here. The second it held a bit above, I'm like, I'm just going to get out in front of $6. So this is an example of taking your outs when they're there. Instead of just sitting in a short that sometimes goes against you $1, I had 5 or 6 separate shorts here. More actual fills than that, but 5 or 6 separate shorts where I got stopped out of what looked like the top twice and then just got right back in when it set up. And after it made the double top, I was a little bit more convicted about it because I was less aggressive getting out because it was that double top failure at that point. So this one does step down for me. After every capitulation, you get out. And one of the things that we talked about here, or last year, we talked about it last week, as a matter of fact, I think it was what we did on Friday, Sean, was our resolutions. And one of them for me was finding my way into some longs. Now, obviously, like shorting at 780, getting out at last at 6 is much better than getting long at $7 here and essentially making like 25 cents there, holding the rest for 90 cents. But for me, getting that long and then even trying to get the halt to the upside, which we were doing on the morning show, that's an important step because I want to try to get more of those, right? So I tried it long at 9 o'clock. I then took a long breakout at 9:30. I then tried to get the long on the halt. Eventually, yes, ended up with the best trades and most of them being to the short side, but that was something I wanted to focus on. So when this one came around this morning as a low float runner, I did find a way that because I didn't like the short at the open to go the other way. And if it's going to be a mover, sometimes you want to be trading these names. And if there's a reason why I might have missed a few things at the open, which were there, it's because this is one I wanted to be in and to that long side. Now, of course, I wish we had gotten that halt trade. That was pretty clean. It was like 770 all the way up till about 830, 840 or so. So a clean 70-cent win in and out with the extra liquidity of the halt and then the reopen. Next time I'll try to grab that as well. But hey, it's all about baby steps here. Down to just this RELI position, and we'll see what happens. GNPX, obviously, that would have worked out if I just jumped back into the short, but still pretty strong, right? Like, even though it failed 350, it's right back here at 338. It just refuses to fall more than 15 or 20 cents at a time. So it has been screaming to the upside. At some point, you've got to give up the ghost when the trend is that strong.
So we just got back in here to AMC, not back in, I mean, we got a couple times out in the 90s. I mean, I'm hoping it can go back upside. We already do have our out down here if it breaks through 2650. So I feel like it's going to do that. It's just been pushing downside here on AMC. We've gotten, again, it's a profitable name for me, a pretty profitable one anyways here today. It's not going to be my number one stock, as you've seen destruction on a few names. But yeah, AMC, we'll see if we can get it going back to the upside. And it's something that we're looking at right now for a bump here. As we averaged in, 2650 is going to be our drop zone for this one. And it'll be a whopping 30-cent hit.
Zone.
Yeah, drop zone. Shout out to, is it Paramount Canada's Wonderland? I don't know what it is
Not
anymore.
anymore. It's not Paramount.
No, I don't think it's Paramount anymore. It might be something. I don't know, but anyways, we'll find out. But I wasn't there last year. We go every year to Kansas Wonderland. Those of you in the GTA obviously know what we're talking about. It's like a Six Flags. What's up, Brandon?
Just checking Virgin Orbit. 3 days in a row since it de-SPAC. A lot of SPACs today, or former SPAC up here. VORB down again today, 3 days in a row since this took place. Another 8.7%. Just going through some volume lists right now. This is another one that finally maybe kind of sort of trying to buy in front of 7 here for VORB.
I totally forgot about this stock. Like, I remember I came in that after my first day back, because like Virgin Galactic had gone up the day that this came, and it went down. I was like, oh, they're just selling that one right away. I should look at this for potential short. And then I never do, and I know why I don't, because the volume isn't really that great. But look at it; it's been essentially just giving you like this stair step down every single day. Like, you kind of look at it when the trading turns on in the morning and it just falls down on the 15-minute. Even when the market opens up, like you just see right at 9:30, capitulates again. First consolidation, 11 o'clock, it capitulates through the low of the day. So I don't really know at what point I should start trading it, but 600,000 shares is the reason it's probably not showing up on any scanners in the morning, because one of the things that usually you're going to scan for, and with good reason, is volume. A stock can move all you want it to, but if it's not doing volume, then you can't actually get in and get out of it with ease, which is part of structuring trades. So if you wonder why sometimes there'll be a parabolic mover, and it's like, why aren't you guys looking at this stock? And it could be up 200% and it's halted 3 times, but it's done like 250,000 shares worth of volume, despite the fact that it's traded half a day and halted 3 times. And those are just a no-fly zone altogether, because it's not worth the trouble, because if you get stuck and miss a stop on that, you're going to lose so much, and that never works out for you in the other direction, right? Like if you have a take profit and it blows through that and goes an extra 30%, I mean, you still had your order out there and you get sort of taken out with it. A lot of times, if you miss a stop, it's going to be bad, but usually if you work as a day trader with take profit orders and have orders out to market, and that's part of your style, you're never really going to benefit from that lack of liquidity the same way. So obviously, VORB's pretty good. I'm not going to ignore it. I mean, if the volume starts to pick up, maybe there's going to be a trade in this thing at some point. A lot of times when you have a debut that week, you can just get something which is trying to find a bottom, and you want to take advantage of it until that does happen. I said the last thing I was in is Reliant. And it's kind of continuing to the downside here. It's made the push to $8. So we got some out there $8.60 in front of this consolidation here at $8.40. The next level is right here. This would have been right before the volume spike at 2 o'clock. The bottom was $7.40. The top breakout was $7.80. So this is the range we wanted in. It's now into that bottom. If it comes back out the top of the range at $7.85, I'll just get it out. We're going to bank at least $1 on the last of the trade by using that trail. Otherwise, we'll just kind of let it run into the close with about 15 minutes to go. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it. I'll tell you this much. The first day is flying by here. I think partly because we had to come in the middle of the show, stepping in for Trader Prad. I want to shout out to Mark, by the way. If you guys were watching the midday show, Mark, and I'm a nerd, so he was like Geordie LaForge or Scotty, because he just kind of ran in here and fixed things up for Prad to be able to get him going. And that's kind of the team that we do have. You should have seen him. It was pretty impressive to see. Prad's like freaking out and everything, and Mark.
Well, it turns out we had a backup, so I mean, it wasn't. I mean,
okay, fine.
Obviously great for Mark, but
of course,
I don't think it was rocket science.
I'm not saying it was rocket science. I'm just saying
I thought Geordie LaForge. What was he?
But the whole point is that whether it was easy or not, Geordie just made it seem like it was rocket science. And same thing with Scotty. It was like you had to make it seem like they were working miracles, even if you were just sort of doing your job. And I think anyone that pulls that off in IT, you got my respect, because despite the fact that for our trading floor, at sometimes I was the IT guy, it definitely didn't mean I knew a damn thing. I certainly did not. My go-to was like, turn it off and turn it back on, because that's how I roll.
Yep. That's why it's always good to make backups of your stuff. So thank you to Rob, who I think saved the day today, and for Mark for coming through, obviously, as well. I mean, Apple pulled off that level again there, so really not too much of a surprise as we look at AAPL coming through. Oh, just quickly on Palantir, just because we have 7 minutes until the imbalances come out. So we're just going to get out of this one if it cracks below here, 1840. So you break below 1840 on this name, we're going to be out. We saw it rip up to 50. Probably should have taken it out at 50. That would have looked pretty cool to have a tick there. So we'll put one there. If it goes back up there in the next 15 or so minutes, we will cash this out on Palantir at 50. Otherwise, hopefully we'll get a 39 print or so. So that's what we're looking for right now in PLTR. But that's that. So we're going to wait on that. So far, so good. Hopefully coming through. I don't know, man. MindMed is another name, MNMD. Today looks to be up as well. Over here, up 10% after making new lows just recently in MindMed. We didn't ask Kevin about this one, but I know that they've had a change in management. J.R. Ron is now gone from this company. So, yeah, MindMed, just wow, an utter disaster. I really think this could be a new year for psychedelics in the way that, well, it's a new year for everybody, but a new year for that because there hasn't been much push as far as psychedelics is concerned, as far as I can tell. There is an ETF in Canada as well, but I think there's some new developments coming in this space. And by no means am I recommending a name like MindMed down here, but it's an interesting space. And I think that if you are, or you do know anybody maybe suffering from depression and things like that, we've had a bunch of these guys. And that's why I'm not just talking about MindMed. We've had a bunch of different companies on talking about what they do for various issues. I might sneeze at some point, but anyways, MindMed might be on your radar here as we're basically at IPO levels here. I don't even know what the IPO is because it was over on NEO. We had them here the day they IPO'd. Yep. I'm sure it was sub $1, but it's something like this anyways because it was in Canada. So take away that. This is probably trading $1.25 or so here in Canada. So yeah, just having a look, man. Pfizer down that 4%. Never thought that was a buy until we got to 52, 53. So I think we'll probably make some moves there once Pfizer gets back down. But for right now, it's been a pretty slow.
There's a lot of good health. You know what? Actually, across the board in healthcare, there's been some opportunities. I saw Danaher as well. I mean, that's probably not a buy just yet, but UNH had pulled back. I think that's going to do really well this year. I think Danaher is going to do well this year. Obviously, Pfizer pretty good. Eli Lilly was down today. There's going to be some, if that continues for 2 or 3 days in healthcare, I think there's going to be some good buys. I mean, Pfizer obviously has been running so far that I think you can be a little bit more patient with it, but some of those others, Bristol Myers would fall into that category, going to be there. Someone asked about Lucid. Look, Tesla and Lucid both monster runners today. They're just pulling back. This is just, it's the first day of the year. You had monster runs on both. This is just, to me, they make that double, triple top type of consolidation. No key level in Lucid, so it just kind of went around to this 4160 as Tesla was making a top, hung around there a little bit, and when it turned, it kind of went down there with it. So, not necessarily a key level, but just some profit taking. Tesla is doing a similar thing here today, but it's just notice the fact that it's holding up really, really well. Like, it just dipped again to like 88, and then we're right back here. So every time it's put in a really big, sort of a relatively big candle, I want to say, it's just popping right back up $5. The buyers are just jumping right back into it. And we've seen Tesla when it does this. When it does this and it can't pull back at the end of the day, usually means some good things. Now, 1200 is going to remain a level, hopefully, because as day traders, obviously we want to be able to trade 1200. I'd love to be able to trade this, maybe short it 2-3 times, then finally get the breakout and take the breakout long, and it just lets you go to the well multiple times. But I think we get a shot at this level going into tomorrow as well. I just got out of Reliant. So done with that. I had my trail. It then hit the bottom end of the range, of the next range of consolidation, down around that 740. So I exited at 750. That one's going to work out. And the lesson learned here is just, despite the fact that I missed my stop here, lost twice as much as I wanted to, no revenge trade, missed my trade here, but waited for the lower consolidation, gave it to the lower high, did not threaten or break it. I could have added here at the same price. I chose not to, and then it's just going to end up working out. And then part of it was, usually I'm trading and getting out of this at VWAP. This time I decided to hold through VWAP and let it work for me once it's in the money. Little things to try to get a little bit better as we go into the new year. Sorry, as we're now into the new year, always trying to grow. Only about 10 minutes to go, but 2 minutes until imbalances come out. Watch the imbalances, because first day of the year, you never really know. You might see some action at the close, specifically with the auctions.
Yeah, we are. We're only 2 minutes away now. Wow. Someone said that I had a pretty sick long on NEO. Yeah, I mean, it's my number. We don't have a losing trade on the board for you today. We are going to be down net-wise on XPeng, but That's more of a fee structure thing, honestly. I'm down what I'm paying in fees on that names today. So you could see right here on NIO, we drew this nice little line, and yeah, it just violated there. So we actually got out right here on a 30 break. So we got out of NEO. We should have obviously held it off that, but we got to be somewhat responsible there. So there's the break. We talked about it following all the way up, and it just breaks basically the flag there, and we're able to get out. And it wasn't, I tried to give it a little bit of space, and it just went down, and basically we got ticked out by like 2 pennies there before it ripped back up 20 more. But I don't know, I probably would still be in this and maybe getting out now. So I don't know if I would have got out at the high side or not right there, but that's just a little quick review there on why I'm out of NEO off this. It's the #1 stock net-wise here today, I think, for both of us. So NEO, good stock, going upside. PayPal's close too, man. NEO and PayPal battling for the trade of the day for me. We used NEO because it was easier and made more sense, and we don't have more than one execution. But PayPal right there was a good one. Should have reloaded down there. We already had the price. So to be honest with you, I didn't even notice it when it was coming back. Part of it is holding too many positions at once. That should have been a definite reload. And wow, PayPal breaking back out, man. This could also, it was my call for 2020, so, and it doubled, but I would make this my call for 2022 again as well. But still some work to do there. Maybe an upstart might be a little bit better for risk, or not for risk reward, but if you wanted some better upside. Here come the imbalances right now. We'll see which side they're going to go to, up or down. The NASDAQ starting to send some ripples to the upside here as it's going, but right now there's the reload. WFC still strong on the buy side. That's probably going to rally. Let's zoom in a little bit here. That's probably going to rally WFC. Yeah, there it goes. You're seeing it go to the upside. Pfizer right there as well. Nah, not doing much to the upside at all on that move. But it looks like it might have. Did it tick 90 there? Maybe it did. Other than that, there's SoFi.
Tesla have an imbalance?
What was that?
Did Tesla have one?
Maybe, but it could just be small. I mean, I don't know where Tesla is. But right now, again, you could sort. I wish we could sort by nominal. We can't right here. So all we can sort is by size. There's Apple with a decent sell. So yeah, so I would say, you said Tesla probably to the downside?
Tesla just popped, like right when imbalances came out, it popped right back up to 99.
Okay.
Like it just,
well, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I could sort, here, hold on a second. Let's just do this quickly alphabetically, and that way we can try to find it. There's so many stocks, though. TSSSLLL. There it is right there. Tesla. Yep, a buy. Yeah, right there. So there's Tesla with the buy. 200,000. So that would make sense as it once again tests 1,200 on the day. 1,200 on the dot is your day's high for TSLA.
That's crazy. So I mean, like again, like some imbalances matter. 200,000 is not. It's not gigantic when you think of 31 million shares traded, but for a Tesla, that's actually a decent size imbalance, and the bot's buying back up. And this is why when you're day trading, you take your profits and run. And if you get out too early and you made money, that's fine. You're a counter trend. Like trying to sit there and make the perfect trade when you're going against the trend doesn't make any sense. That's hard enough to do when you're with the trend, let alone going against it. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's too late in the day for me to take a 1,200 break and just making sure that my order is canceled. Yeah, so I'm not going to take a 1,200 break with less than 10 minutes to go when that spike happened on the imbalance. Because if that pairs off at 55, that buy imbalance on Tesla pairs off, and you're caught with a 1,200 break that maybe doesn't extend, suddenly the risk reward's not that good, especially when that spike corresponded exactly with the imbalances coming out. The timing was on a dime. Like I had the chart up, and second 350 hit, I saw the spike in Tesla. I didn't notice that it was a buy imbalance because 200,000. I had to scroll pretty far down to find 200,000 on my locator, but either way,
it might have been the highest.
Yeah, and you know what? To be perfectly honest, the second the show finishes, I'm putting that ticket in because why can't we sort it by notional value? Why not?
Yeah, notional.
We should be able to. It makes.
I know.
That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Yep.
You're saying we can? Yeah. They have that column?
No. Continuous price.
That must be, okay, look, we've been around a long time. They must have added that feature under my nose because I didn't realize we had that. So apparently we can. I'm going to figure that one out the second we're done.
I'm not going to figure it out. I'm figuring it out right now. Continuous price times size. So there it is right there. We'll push apply on this one and then we'll see. And then I'm going to sort it by this. Yeah, so there it is. Yeah, that's right. 227 million right there. So now we'll sort it by that. Yeah, Procter & Gamble, what? Billion? Does that make sense there? 600,000. Yeah, maybe. What is Procter & Gamble right here? That's quite a big one there, if that is true. You can see Procter starting to go to the upside right there on this. 600,000 shares times 162, maybe, I don't know. I'll have to do the math to see what this is. My mind right now not working out very good. We'll see if this is true, because if that's true, then that's a great little spot there. And thank you, Day Trade the World, again, for that. So there it is right there. We'll just do more work here, but as you can see, for the imbalance locator, we'll just sort by size for now. 3.99 million on CIT again. Ooh, yeah, there's some index changes going on there. WFC, so we'll see what happens on that one. See how even though it's a bid, it's still making a move to the downside, so there's some index there. SoFi, Rio, Ford, right now we're out of Ford, so that was a good trade for us today as well. You could see the Ford trade, what time is it, 3:54? The Ford trade, boom, nice little move to the upside here. Whoa, get that off the screen. Ford, nice move there. We took advantage of this. Look, it's been a great day. I just hope tomorrow can be just as good, man. Sticky note reigns supreme today. Our watch list was great. We're really super happy with only 5 minutes left. The only thing I'm not happy about is it looks like AMC gave us a little bit of reprieve. We could have just got out right now for flat, but we didn't. And it looks like right now it's going to break down through 26.50. So although now that we've averaged in, it looks like that AMC, after trading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 names for you today, the first negative one on the board is going to happen right now into the close. If AMC, I could get out now and be positive on AMC, but if it breaks through 50, it will turn our day around, because we did take, again, 3 positions, 3 average-ins here, just trying to see if AMC wants to go. So right now, that's sort of the thorn in my side, this AMC trade. If it breaks 50, though, we're gone, and that will be the losing trade for me today.
Interesting that Procter, which on the day, by the way, Procter's down on the session, which makes sense. It means some sense, because I think it's at that high. I'm running into resistance at 165. But the fact that you're going to get a buy imbalance when a stock like that is trading to the downside, it looks like it just flipped there, but it actually maintained a bit of a buy on PG. So it's still up there. It's been a monster performer. And it's tough to say, okay, well, after something like this already makes its breakout, that it's going to be good, but you got to think about those consumer staples faring pretty well. I think if the rotation continues in tech, there's going to be an opportunity to catch this one on a dip. You know, I like Procter and Pepsi. Those are the two I just happen to have in my in my holdings, but there's certainly a lot of other names in that space that look to continue to work. Brendan's got a name for us with only 4 minutes to go. No earnings, though.
No, we will get into some earnings later this week and also into the next couple of weeks. We'll get back into earnings season. So looking forward to that. One maybe for tomorrow to put on your watch list for tomorrow. IBRX, 24% day highs right now on volume. Might have been an imbalance here for this. They announced a COVID-19 vaccine joint venture today. I was just kind of chuckling with Ms. V beside me here as we read an interesting headline about that Tesla move today, guys. They added more than 90% of the S&P in equivalent market cap today. So 90% of the S&P 500 individual market caps, that's how much Tesla is up. More than that on the day today.
And the big dogs, man, don't fight with the big dogs, because you will get burnt up, or bit, I guess, as you say there. Tesla just don't, I mean, that's been a crazy stock. Great short on that one, but we'll wait to see where it closes. Looks like Palantir, whatever, we'll see where we're going to get out of that one. I don't really know where we're going to get out of it. We were talking about here, was waiting for a pop-up. I think it's about time we just put an order in for Palantir and see if we get out at 46, and then see if it just bumps us through there, sit on like an Edge X or something, or maybe even a free one to see if we could get some shares. But yeah, look, it's a net positive day. And just to give you an idea, okay, so we are out, so we'll beat it up a little bit there as the Bears come in and roar their ugly head on AMC today. And just to give you an idea, my only negative stock is a 10th. So a 10th of what we made on NEO, we lost on AMC. So a 10th of what we made on NEO, we lost on AMC. So there you go, just to give you an idea of kind of the risk management that we had here, NEO versus AMC. A big time win there for NIO. My biggest stock today, that and PayPal. So again, you know, big time movement here. You got to like some of these levels. And we talked about why we like this on the sticky note coming through today's AMC. And then I might, like I said, Palantir, nice little move upside there through 48. There it is. So actually, oops, wrong stock there. AMC just got us out at 48. So, or sorry, Palantir. We got out of AMC at 48 as well on the downside, but there we go. So, I mean, there's the take. A bunch of 48s just cleared out there, thousands of shares. So there's the fill on Palantir. I hope you guys are able to get that as well if you had that. So another 40-cent win for us on PLTR. Look at this thing run into the close, 1850, new day's high. Besides, I guess, the very open, but a nice little high here for Palantir to close the day. We like it, man. A big successful day here. Happy to join us. Thank you so much. Are we at 1,000 likes is really the question. Yes, we are 1.1. So remember I said it was 777. I was like, we like to see 1111. Well, there it is right there. Thank you so much for making that happen, because the dream work and the teamwork are 1-1 as Tesla right now looking at 1,200.
It's 359, or I'd be in this trade. For sure. Like, there's 200,000 shares on the offer.
I'm feeling you might lose this time around.
No, I know, but it's like you could be shorting like 95.
Yeah,
it's like
what is that, 12?
20, 30 cents worth of risk.
Nice
as a
size
day
there.
trader, it's hard not to put that scalp trade on, because you right there, like, as long as slippage isn't too bad, if you get a good fill, you're already making 3 or 4 to 1. There's traders that are probably doing this right at the close and scalping it. That's why it's not really going very far, because it goes down like 10 or 20 cents, and then you see all those prints go off as people cover that short. But 200-some thousand shares on the offer at 1,200 on Tesla. Wow, what an unbelievable run it has. But all kinds of liquidity at the top. I think I just saw Ms. V make the move. That means we got to ring the bell pretty soon. Not been shy for action to start this year, and here's that.
Watch this break.
Even more shares on the offer. Please don't break.
This might go right to 05.
Oh my God!
In 2 seconds here.
Why is it doing it right now? Why does it have to do this right now?
Oh, because the imbalance flipped probably. Remember, it was a sell or it was a buy. So they're just taking it. Here it goes. It's going to rip through right now. There goes Tesla. You might as well hit the close key right now. Bye-bye, Tesla. Let's just see how far it goes. Remember, I was saying it goes at least $2 right away. There it is. So
you could have got 25s. It looked like there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, right there. I mean, I am seeing some 30s.
Oh,
right
shoot
now,
the
so
countdown.
I thought you had your finger on the countdown.
I hit it, but I was watching Tesla when I hit it. I did hit it. The countdown was going.
Oh, the countdown was good. Okay.
But I can't take my eyes off that level.
No, I didn't even. I was just watching. I thought you were. I was like, I could have counted it down. But there it is. Thanks, Ms. V. I guess you must have saw on the screen there. Hits it. Very, very good professional there, Ms. V. And there it is, right? The 199, 11.99 back in play. So Tesla there. I said it'd go to 12.02. It doesn't even come close to that. And I guess a lot of that was because of what we said and what Neil mentioned there. A lot of that, I mean,
it's the end of the day.
No one wants to be involved in this right now, although the liquidity still plentiful, maybe even more now. The spread's only like 30 cents, so seems to be reasonable as Tesla takes out 1,200 right there at the end of the day. Congratulations to all the Tesla longs. Hey, man, it's only up 14%. Brendan, how is the market, though? I actually already hit this, so kind of already know what we're doing.
Something was down.
The dancing Santa, accordingly. Here we go. Look at how we wrap things up for day one of the, there we go. How about one more time there, Robbie? There we go, thank you. 0.6 for the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, a full percent to the upside. Obviously, Tesla, a part of that rally. Crude oil, as I said, 1% to the upside. A lot of energy stocks on watch today. What is it, 1244, all-time highs. Do we get there tomorrow?
Yes.
Why not?
Exactly. So unless someone can tell me why not, we will wait to see where it goes.
I give you one scenario where it doesn't happen. If it failed breaks 1,200 right at the open, I think that's your one chance that it doesn't happen.
Yep. Could
also,
easily.
by the way, Toronto was not up 0.07%. Obviously, Toronto was a holiday today and didn't trade at all.
Yeah, that is a, obviously I don't know why Toronto's on there, but just a data glitch as we get ready to go. Thank you for everything today. Trader Prad, big time thank you, as per usual there, holding it down. Thank you to Superman himself, Mark, who is now in the building. And I do want to say a big thank you to Rob as well, because there's Mark. He mentioned that it was a lot to do with Rob, so I don't want to discount Rob on that one for backing it up. So not, no. Okay, hold on a second. There's multiple Robs. So
other Robs.
So we're not thanking.
We love you too, Rob.
We're not thanking much for this. First of all, Tesla right now up through 12.02 right now. So that's starting to go right now. And of course, thank you to Rob and Lucas. Lucas is back. Great to have them as a team one more time. So thank you to both of you guys. Thank you to Maggie for organizing our crazy lunchtime. There, as we had to go back and forth there. Did I already thank Ms. V? I believe we probably already did. Thank you, Ms. V, for coming in to the show and obviously adding that flair. definitely needed. And when you're looking at our mugs too often, it's always good. There goes Tesla, man. You might even get to 1244 tonight. All right, so that's about it. NEO's your trade of the day. A fantastic start to the new year. NASDAQ bumping, man. ES bumping. It's been absolutely fantastic. Everybody stay warm wherever you are. I think here we're like at minus 10 or so. I don't know.
Wind chill worse.
Yeah, wind chill's worse. We're going through a cold spell right now. Stay warm, stay bundled, stay safe, and we will see everybody tomorrow. Ciao.
Ciao.